Billy Goat Jr.'s Grammy was trained to chase squirrels, cats, birds, and rabbits. We could hear her for miles through the brush. And she'd circle right to us.
You're not serious.
As serious as a meal for two for $15.
You're an interesting cat.
What'd you call me?
A meal for two for $15. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. Our high this afternoon, upper 50s to near 60. Cloud cover will roll back in tonight. The overnight low will drop down in the upper 30s to low 40s. Limited sunshine on Wednesday. Highs will be right around the upper 50s to near 60, with a few scattered showers of storms across the south.
Here's Jones on a keeper. Out over the 40 to midfield. Matt Jones may take it to the house. And the dunk.
3-2 pitch. He struck him out. Got him looking. Hagen Smith has tied the school record with 17 strikeouts, but he's done it in 6 dominating innings. Peyton Holt in center field makes the catch. Runners don't try to score. Zonay's coming home. He throws to third. Sprague Lott fires to the plate. They got him.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Morning, everybody. How's everyone doing today? It is a gorgeous Tuesday. Feels like a little bit of spring in the air, doesn't it? Yeah, nice to be with you here on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com, and the Hit That Line Now app. I am Phil Elson with Matt Jones, my partner, Kristen Johnston in the producer's chair. We'll take you for the next 3 hours. Matt, I wish we were doing the show outside today. I kind of feel like a caged animal a little bit, looking out the windows. The sun is shining brightly, not a cloud in the sky. Got to take advantage of days like this while we have them, because who knows what it's going to be like in a couple of weeks, or maybe even in 17 days when Arkansas baseball begins the season, because you never quite know in February if you're going to see 36, 39, or maybe even 65 degrees. You want to see if Christian can hold the show for the next couple of hours? You and I meet somewhere in the middle. We'll do the last hour somewhere outdoors.
I can dig it.
It may take all 4 hours or all 2 hours to eat grape nuts for me to eat the grape nuts.
There we go.
So that's what I can do.
You gotta have a goal.
That's what it takes for him to actually finish the homework from last week. I guess that's fine with me. Yeah, we're gonna get outside, play some hoops. This would be good basketball weather to be outside. It'd
What's
be good
that
to
game?
Just be outside walking or running or doing anything.
What's that game they play in Big? It's not racquetball. Is it handball with Tom Hanks and the guy that they're outside? This was to be the day that you could be playing handball outside for sure.
It's the old man game. Is there anybody that plays handball?
Pickleball's the new old man game, right?
Well, I feel like pickleball is kind of like an every person game, but I don't know any kids that play handball or squash. You ever play squash, one of those outdoor? You can play it outdoor, you can play it indoors, but it's got the smallest, tiniest little ball that you've ever hit off a racket.
I've never played squash. No, I don't think I've ever seen a squash.
Yeah, it's not just the food. It's
You can
not
eat some
just
squash.
It's not just an oblong vegetable, my friend. It's actually a sport that the ball barely bounces, and you get one of those long kind of almost like badminton rackets that you can flick your wrist with, and all of a sudden the ball goes flying.
I've done the badminton now. What's that called? A shuttlecock? I
That
don't know
is a
why.
shuttlecock.
I don't know why. It just seems like an odd name, but it definitely. I've done some badminton.
You can just refer to it as the shuttle if you want to. I think that'll work just fine. I don't know. Is there collegiate badminton out there that we pay attention to at all? I played a little badminton before. I heard the chuckle back there, Ed McMahon, by the way. He can't contain himself when it comes to this kind of thing. Wait until we play the soundbite from Jerry Jones about how the Dallas Cowboy fans have responded to the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer. I think C Shuttlecock may have to walk outside the studio when we play that one. Otherwise, it's going to break the windows from him.
Well, it's the curse of not doing what you said you would do. You know, when you say you're going to eat a box of grape nuts and then you kind of fugazi out. That's just kind of what happens.
That's very well said. Well said. Well, Dan in Mount Ida says that you can call it a birdie too. But I mean, where's the fun in that, Dan? Come on, we're trying to have fun. Sports are all about fun. It's not just about running around and breaking a sweat and flicking your wrist and sending a shuttlecock about 20 feet over a raised net. Why do we want to call this a birdie? That's a golf term. It doesn't really need to be that term for us. Yeah, old man sport, I know. It's probably, see, the thing is I call it that, and if I tried to play handball against anybody that plays it now, they would literally run me off the court. And at 48, I still don't identify as an old man. My daughter, though, identifies me as an old man based on the thought that I've got Cheerios and cornflakes in the pantry. So what are we judging age by? Cereals or sports that you play in recreation?
And you got unsweetened almond milk. Yeah, that's how we would. What's in your refrigerator?
I had one of those cold coffee drinks yesterday, Matt, that had oat milk in it. I thought I would give it a try. I'm not into the oat milk thing because I'd like to have something actually marketed for what it is. And you can't milk an oat. It's impossible to milk an oat. It's oil. And it ruined the flavor of the coffee. So I felt bad about it. I wasted $2.50. I spent $3 on this thing. I poured half the thing out.
Was it that pink can? What color was the can?
It was beige.
Beige?
Just like coffee should be colored.
Is it right by the Starbucks ones too? What's it called? Is it called Papa Bottle?
It was called "This Thing Should Taste Better Than It Does." I don't remember what the brand name was.
Is it better than
they got a
goat
Rishi,
milk?
They got a Lion's Mane Rishi oat milk that they make, and it's about $3 a pop with some Himalayan pink salt. And so obviously that wasn't what you got because that's the one I get. It has oat milk, but it actually says oat milk oil, and because you're exactly right. So that's the one. Go. That's the one you need to try. I'll try to pick one up for you.
Because it's truth in marketing. Stop calling this stuff milk, for crying out. What was your question, C-Milk?
Is it better than goat milk?
Well, that's real milk.
Goat cheese is probably some of my favorites.
Goat milk doesn't sound too great to me either.
Goat cheese on your fig salad.
I don't know.
Chris wants to know if you can judge how old somebody is by how grouchy there is. Well, maybe usually you can judge what day it is of the week during the football season by the grouchiness, depending on the final score of Saturday's game. But as far as grouchiness is concerned, no, I think it's more a matter of your lot in life. But I don't know. Maybe it's a matter of pain too. It's like used to wonder about this. Why is Grandpa always upset? Why has he always got that look on his face? Well, if you couldn't bend over, if you can't walk straight up, I think you might think the same way, feel exactly the same way. I don't know what's wrong with buttermilk either, Chris. I mean, buttermilk is just fine as long as it's in pancake form. You don't need to drink something that's that thick. Now we're doing a dairy show. That was pretty quick. I only brought this up just to be able to get away from the idea that there's no midweek basketball this week. So at least that's a good thing, right?
Thank goodness.
Please tell me y'all haven't had cornbread and buttermilk. Ugh.
Is that bad? Haven't had it yet.
My grandpa used to drink that. He put cornbread in it and drank it.
I would. There are some actually pretty good basketball games midweek, Matt, in the SEC. I mean, today you get Kentucky and Tennessee. It's a really good game. You're going to get a chance to see what Kentucky looks like potentially before the Razorbacks visit Rupp on Saturday. Now, Kentucky's banged up. Their availability report today, no Lamont Butler. And he seems to be the guy that really drives everything for them. It's obviously a team that's made up of more than one player. Andrew Carlo is also questionable, and they're having a little trouble since the injuries have risen up, losing back-to-back games. You know, Tennessee is mostly healthy and should be an exciting matchup of at least seeing two completely different styles, with Kentucky, you know, usually getting close to 90 points or close to 100. And, man, it can be difficult to score 100 points in back-to-back games against Tennessee. But it's also, you know, you watch these games now and feel like, well, you're playing for the standings in the SEC. Yeah, you want to win a regular season championship. You want to get a good seed for the SEC tournament. But what kind of pressure is really on these teams at the moment? Because Tennessee continues to play the way that they're playing, they're going to get a number 1 or a number 2 seed. You know, Kentucky, you know, maybe not a number 1 overall, but if you win the SEC tournament, there's a good shot you might get that. Somebody's going to be number 1. Heck, you may have 2 number 1s out of the SEC this year. And I just wish Arkansas was part of that conversation instead of, you know, looking ahead for next year and what kind of a roster can you put together and who would you like to keep from this team. And I would actually much rather, you know, look at it a completely different way than the way I did that I brought it up. There's no midweek basketball, and we're kind of happy about that. Who'd have thought you'd feel like this in late January about a few months ago? I know that's been a theme that I've had, but I remember bringing it up even 3 weeks ago when Arkansas lost their first 2 SEC games and then 3. What has happened? Well, it's happened, and this is what you're left with, and now it's kind of like watching the other teams in the SEC to watch an entertaining game. Because, hey, look, that Oklahoma game on Saturday, I mean, you enjoy watching Arkansas basketball no matter what. I mean, it's your team. But it wasn't the prettiest thing in the world. And I think the Kentucky-Tennessee game may be, Matt, I don't know if the word is pretty, but it ought to be a really good basketball game. Those two teams playing, you know, great different styles, and they're playing, you know, for the most part, winning basketball.
Yeah, I mean, do you tell if you're the Razorbacks? Do you say, "Hey, go watch. This is what good basketball looks like"? Do you go watch film? You know, what do you tell this? What do you tell this Razorback? Do you just say, "Hey, get away for a couple days"? What do you try to do if you're this Razorback team?
Well, you know, John Cal did bring it up yesterday in terms of what this week of practice is like and just how important it is.
I don't even know how I feel because I'm not on it yet. Mm-hmm. You know, we got a week, and we got Tuesday and Wednesday practices are vital for the rest of the year for us.
For the rest of the year, it's after your Saturday game and leading into, you got midweek games the rest of the season. But I would think it's pretty important to watch this one tonight. You don't play Tennessee again, but Kentucky's next on the list, and you know, I don't think it's in the players' minds or anything. Maybe it's in the back of Cal's mind or what the response is like whenever he does get into the building. But if you're DJ Wagner and Adu Thero and also Big Z, I mean, you're also part of that conversation. So this game tonight is at whatever they call it now. I think they call it Food City Center, Thompson Bowling in Knoxville. But Saturday is going to be something that's kind of crazy. And it's also wild to think that, you know, I mean, I think it's the biggest story in college basketball overall for the entire year, just the idea of Cal returning to Lexington and everything that goes along with it. So I have no idea why ESPN chooses to do the North Carolina Duke game for game day, but hey, that's their decision. So, you know, maybe if Arkansas was playing winning basketball, they'd have been there. And that's more what it's about, a better matchup instead of just the story of a coach returning.
Yeah, nobody wants to watch that game. Yeah, everybody would want to watch Cooper Flag and Duke and North Carolina. You want to watch teams that are going to be playing later on in March. Kentucky, I guess they'll make the tournament, but you win one game, you don't get to be on game day.
So here's what's halftime on a Tuesday. We'll be talking with Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio, in a couple of hours. Got the news of Knowles moving over to Penn State, $3.1 million a year, and the reports coming out that Ohio State lost over $30 million last year in athletic expenditures. So, I don't know if you can cry poverty, but there may be one reason why Penn State's offer was better than Ohio State's offer. Alyssa Orange coming up in about an hour from Pig Trail Nation. We'll get her thoughts on the Arkansas basketball and baseball teams. Of course, we do have 17 days until opening day at Baum Walker, and so as we go throughout the show, What do you want to talk about with Arkansas baseball? Send it in to me all throughout the show. I'll answer these questions as we go throughout it, and maybe turn it into a couple of segments if you got good things to ask. 877-377-6963 to get with us. Stay with us. We'll have much more halftime right after this.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
This is halftime.
On second down, the give is to Felix Jones on an end around. Jones to the 30 to 40. Jones in midfield. He may go. 25, a 20, 10, 5, touchdown Arkansas. Felix Jones goes 72 yards. And the Razorbacks increase their lead.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today and see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $500 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine. On North 11th Street is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. Also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith. 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, 2-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Bartley.
At Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC, we dial 782-8940.
This is Joe Calderera with Taliano's Restaurant. We call 782-8940.
Keep warm this winter with a York high-efficiency furnace. Or for more information on endless hot water and a high-efficiency tankless water heater, give Blaylock Heating, Air, and Plumbing Services a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
Nothing, she's nothing. Have something if you wanna be with me. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something. You wanna be with me. That zero is too close to me. I'm not trying to be so honest, 'cause that minus is too low to see.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Okay, since I told you I would answer some questions when it comes to baseball, and you did send a couple of them in. Let's see. Matt in Fayetteville wants to know about the scrimmages over the weekend. I do know they went well. I was only at Friday because I was traveling with women's basketball Saturday. We had the game on Sunday. I know they went well. It's the one I saw Friday. I don't know what you take from it necessarily because the wind was howling. It was 38 to 40 degrees. Pitchers look really good. Parker Coyle looked great from what I saw. Christian Fouch looked great from what I saw. Gabe Gackle looked really good. And this goes to a question Aaron in Fayetteville wants to know if the pitching staff is the depth of pitching staff. And I remember thinking last year's pitching staff was also very deep. But I do think that there are more innings returning, not necessarily from last year's team, but more innings returning overall in college baseball. Just guys that have pitched in this sport. Just looking at the righties, Gackle. I mean, he was terrific last year. Max in his 6th year. Gage Wood. Wood I think would be starting on weekends for a lot of teams. Even in the SEC, I think that's the case. And he's probably going to be maybe a 2-time-a-weekend reliever. Bybee, Fouch, Dossett, Carter, Aiden Jimenez, healthy back. He pitched Friday, pitched at Oregon State. He had plenty of innings. Right there, that's just the right-handers. That's 7 of them. 8 of them, pardon me. Then the lefties, and that's probably, you may have more experience from the lefties than you do in the righties, just on average. Zach Root, Landon Beidelshees would have been the aces at the respective schools they were pitching at before. Remember, we brought up Parker Coyle yesterday. He's been in some pressure cooker moments, may have picked up a little velocity. And that's 3 of them. If you get 3, and then that doesn't even count Colin Fisher and Hunter Dietz, who have great stuff and are a little young. Cole Gibbler, I'm excited to watch. Hard-throwing freshman, a left-hander. So, yeah, the depth is definitely there. But I thought the depth was there last year, too. And sometimes you don't really know if somebody's going to respond the way that you hope they do. I thought that there was another level for Brady Tiger to pitch to, and for a while it looked like he got there, but then things just kind of fell apart for him. That was the same with Mason Molina. So it's, I trust the coaching staff. I trust Matt Hobbs when it comes to pitching staffs. And it's not like they missed on last year's staff. It's just it wasn't quite as deep as we thought they were. So there's some of your questions about baseball. We'll get to some of those later on as they come in. And I know a lot of people have questions about that. All right. Let's get into these new NFL head coaches. A lot were speaking yesterday. Brian Schottenheimer on becoming the Cowboys head coach.
I'm honored and privileged to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I'd like to just talk briefly about some of the people that we're looking for. And there's a lot of those young men in the back of the room here that, as you guys will learn from me, the Schottenheimers tend to be criers. And that just means we show our emotions. And so the type of people we're looking for that are modeled by a lot of the young men in the back that I will talk directly to them in a minute is just a special group. We're looking for world-class competitors, guys that want to compete every day to be the best versions of themselves. We are looking for people with a relentless work ethic. I was taught at a young age by my father that you can outwork people in this business. You don't belong in this organization if you don't value relationships. This business has never been about X's and O's. It's about people. And when I thought about it, I can't imagine sitting up here with a better group of people, a better family to do this with. So I thank you guys for that opportunity. And lastly, the type of people that we want, people that love this game. The game of football has given me so much, my family so much, but if you're not passionate about the game of football and the shield and what it represents, then you're probably in the wrong line of business.
The guy that obviously has got to be incredibly excited for his first shot as a head coach with that organization, with that team. I know it, we can make jokes about the Cowboys and a lack of success on the field last year, of a lack of success in playoffs. I mean, today is actually the history of the anniversary of their last Super Bowl championship in Super Bowl 30. It happened today in 1996. But I can appreciate somebody that's been around the sport for a long, long time, gets his first shot at age 52. And, it's I just can't. I still, though, Matt, can't believe that that he was a first choice. And it's not like you have to hire your first choice to find somebody that can help you bring success. But when I hear Jerry, talking about this hire, and I'm thinking, well, all right, you've gone from a Super Bowl winning coach that had 3 really good regular seasons with that organization, and things obviously fell apart this last year. Was the plan really to replace him with one of your coordinators and somebody that had never had that experience before? It just felt to me that Jerry, and I know he's talking about it's a big risk. Yes, we know it's a risk. So is hiring Dave Campo. So is hiring Jason Garrett. So is hiring Jimmy Johnson, to be quite honest about it, and Barry Switzer, and things worked out in some cases. I just don't, there's no way this was the first choice.
Well, you gotta try to win your division. So you're looking at the Philly Eagles, the Washington Commanders, the Giants. The Giants are a mess, but they seem to get it right. They seem to catch lightning in a bottle once every 10 years. So who's going to win a Super Bowl first? Philly, you never know, man. They got so much talent, and last year they kind of had a downswing, and then the Redskins, they have their quarterback of the future. And so you look at the 2 teams in the Super Bowl, both of them won their division. You got to win your division. Hopefully you can get that bye. There's a lot to go about it. I mean, what is it, 8 in a row? The last 8 times the Cowboys have made the playoffs, they're one and done. So last NFC championship was 95. I mean, Schottenheimer, he sounds like a politician. He sounds like an AI interview right there. That's what you wanted to hear. Everything he was saying, you're like, yeah, I guess so. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's what they want.
Here's Jerry Jones on his hiring practices.
So I've seen it when I was a pup. I have a good background in the makeup of what a coach is. To think that you could make a decision in an interview and not have talked, if you didn't and hadn't ever communicated or had a visit, I wouldn't dare have had an interview unless I talked to many, many people.
And he continues about hiring somebody out of his comfort zone.
I know he's no stranger to this building. Now, I get my proverbial ass kicked over needing people in my comfort zone. Without this thing being about me in any way, if you don't think I can't operate out of my comfort zone, you're so wrong. It's unbelievable. This is as big a risk as you could take. As big a risk as you could take. No head coaching experience. Now, let me share something with you. With all of that, you've just heard him reference his osmosis, his family. Anybody in this room that doesn't believe the apple doesn't go far from the tree has missed it someplace down the road, especially if there was an effort to make it that way, and there was an effort. But then you go around to the countless numbers of coaches that Schotty has served on staff with and been around, the countless players. How often do you have someone that has 25, I'm going to say 25, it may be 26, of years of working through the human relationship and aspiring to learn, of have his ears and eyes wide open and looking for techniques and looking for things that make coaches better. How often do you have a chance to take advantage of all of that at 50 years old, which is a puppy?
You know, and what it sounds like for me, and a lot of this here, is Jerry feels very defensive about the criticism. I think he hears the criticism coming not just from fans, but from media types, and maybe even from some of his own former players who are in the Hall of Fame. But I also don't think that he's telling the truth about going out of his comfort zone here. I mean, I think he's somebody that has been comfortable taking risks for his entire career, both as an oil man and as an owner in the NFL. So I don't think this is about going out of his comfort zone. Going out of his comfort zone would have been doing something that the Bears did. Interview 17 people. Interview people that nobody would think to interview, like an Eddie George, just to get another perspective here. And I don't think the Bears had any idea that they were actually going to hire Eddie George. But that was about as thorough of a process as it gets. Now, hey, the Bears ownership sometimes can't get out of their own way either, Matt. But, you know, but they actually do have a general manager in place here. And, like, Jerry's comfort zone is hires exactly like this. It's hiring one of your own coordinators. It's only the third or fourth time he's done this before, and he sounds very, very defensive. I can understand the reason why he sounds defensive. I think it's getting to him a little bit. And this hire comes off as a little bit like a shotgun hire. And I don't believe that he went out of his comfort zone.
Anybody who, when he came out last year and was defending himself on not taking Eddie Lacy, I mean, Derrick Henry, then you know
Sure.
that he's just talking. He just like, well, I don't know if he runs our type. He's like, get out of here. He's the best run. Him and Shaquan are the best two running backs, and you tried to make it because he went with his comfort zone getting Zeke that it couldn't go anymore. I mean, that was talk about a miss. I think when you keep missing, when you keep swinging and missing like he has for a while, I think you get a little defensive. He has an ego too.
877-377-6963 for any thoughts you have on what's going on with the Cowboys. We'll have sound from
We'd have to change our offense if we wanted Derrick Henry with this. We couldn't. It's like, what are you talking about?
I don't want a future Hall of Fame running back. I mean, what do you want to do with this here? Well, again, the phone number's out there for you. We'll have a lot more coming up in just a moment. Remember about Clay Maxey Auto Group, whose promise is always providing a level of service that maximizes your drive at every step in your car ownership experience. From their locations in Harrison, Mountain Home, Clinton, or Berryville, and make sure that you have a personalized car buying experience with competitive, transparent pricing. You'll find reliable, consistent repairs from their factory-trained technicians at Clay Maxey Auto Group. They're also online at claymaxeyautogroup.com, and they ask for the opportunity to maximize your drive today. Stay with us. Halftime is back right after this.
What we do is if we need that extra push over the cliff, you know what we do?
Put it up to
11, exactly.
This is halftime.
Something amazing is happening in workplaces everywhere. Devices are learning how people work and adapting to help them get more done. That's because CDW is modernizing experiences with Dell's intelligent portfolio of devices. Thanks to built-in security and AI capabilities, your teams can work smarter wherever they may be. Dell and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Dell Client.
All right, fellas, let's tackle the age-old question, what do I get her for Valentine's Day? Don't stress. Send foolproof flowers from the Books Company and get 25% off your entire purchase. Books flowers are fresh, vibrant, and last way longer. Some are even growing on the side of a volcano. Don't wait. Valentine's Day is February 14th, so get your order in now. Go to Books.com. Use my promo code Canty for 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, promo code Canty. Books, promo code Canty.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Looking to upgrade your boat? Now's the time with Honda Marine Buyer's Choice Sales Event. Choose up to $2,000 in instant savings or a 36-month Honda Care Protection Plan. That's extra coverage worth up to $44.60 included at no extra cost. This offer applies to all new 40 to 350 horsepower Honda Marine outboards now through March 31st, 2025. Don't miss this limited time deal at Heartland Honda Power Sports Marine in Springdale. Save big or get extra peace of mind. The choice is yours. Visit Heartland Honda Power Sports Marine today. Exit 72 from I-49 just north of Cracker Barrel.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball to NHL and UFC, head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use the promo code BELIEVE for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Fan. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call, cleans it all.
Eat Lux your way with the new $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. The $5 Classic box is iconic all over. The $7 Supreme box has your decadent favorites and then some. The $9 Discovery box introduces you to your newest obsession, like cheesy dipping burritos. Introducing the new $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes, only at Taco Bell.
In every generation, there are those who question the status quo. Questions like, why can't chicken be slow roasted? Why can't I have shredded purple cabbage? Why can't my quesadilla have cheese inside and out? And where's my avocado verde salsa? The new era of chicken is here to stay. The Cantina Chicken Menu, only at Taco Bell.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Yeah. Man, I kind of wondered if you'd watch the same show I watched last night, Matt, the 50 years of music on SNL, because I was thinking when I hear that song, and I had to ask you who it was, but then when I hear him singing, I knew exactly who it was. And that was the Prince, the Controversy Prince. That might be around the same album when he was on SNL, and Eddie Murphy was like, well, that was before he was Prince. That was when he was Dirty Prince. You could see that mustache too, just looked a little bit thicker than it was even a couple years after that. That was good television last night.
That was fun. That was a really good watch. Every song today except for Mrs. Orange, her song. She didn't know she was a character on Reservoir Dogs too, huh? That every song would be from the show from last night.
Why does she have to be Miss Orange? Well, it's obvious why she would be Miss Orange.
I mean, if I get my coffee filled 5 times, I'll leave a tip. But other than that, I don't. Just because you're paying, I guess I'll tip.
Has C-Movie seen that? Has he seen Reservoir Dog? Did we assign that to him last year?
I think you did, actually.
I would hope that was assigned. I
Yeah.
don't know if we gave you a color or name. You would definitely, at least for today, be Mr. Pink. And don't ask why. You just are. That's how it is. 877-377-6963 to get with us here today. Here is John Calipari in yesterday's Coaches Show.
If we had won the games we were supposed to and maybe stole one, we're like in the hunt, and we're not that far off. But I'm telling you, you're going to have to take someone's lunch money. They're not giving it to you.
Anybody still have lunch money, by the way? Kids don't bring money to school for lunch money. You actually have to do it through like an app or a website. So I guess kids may be asking for the other kid's password in the hallway or something like that. We haven't done lunch money in a long time. Cal would be an old school bully when it comes down to that. Give me your lunch money there. So what games is he talking about? Which games should Arkansas have won? Would it have been home games against Ole Miss, Florida, and Oklahoma? Would it have been the road game at LSU? Because if you're looking at teams that I think this team under its construction should have beaten, just looking at it from when the season started, Ole Miss at home, maybe that's when you steal, because that is an Ole Miss team that's very disciplined. Winning against LSU is a must and should have beaten Oklahoma. I say those would be the 3. But, I mean, it's ifs, ands, buts. None of it happened. But I don't have any lunch money either, Matt.
Well, what are we close to? You can't get it both ways. It can't be, hey, we're building a program and we got these guys coming back. And it can't be, well, it's just everything's one and done. We're going to put a roster together and we're going to see what I don't understand. We're not close to anything.
That's right. That's the thing. It does not feel like the team is very close, because the two teams that you've just played, Georgia, and I think Georgia may make the tournament. I think that it may be long odds at some point, but I think they'll have a shot. Oklahoma, kind of so-so, not very good. So, I can't take those two and say, yeah, well, this team could have found a way to surprise Tennessee in Knoxville or be the one team to win in Columbia against Missouri. I just don't know if that's the case. I don't think it is a team that is all that close at the moment. They're really searching for an identity.
Who's coming back? Who's going to be off this team? Who's going to be coming back next year? That's a real question that I'd want to know. That's who like, are they having that conversation? Because the guys I'm playing right now for the rest of this year's I'm building for next year. I mean, are we not doing that? Because if it's all a one-off done, well, then there's nothing to look forward to.
Look, I know it was a matter of maybe convincing them in some ways about what their future could be like and what you can offer them in terms of NIL, and maybe even more so because you get the revenue share next year. Maybe there's a raise for a couple of these players if you want them to stick around. Does Thero stick around for a 4th year in college? That's somebody that I think that's something to think about for him. DJ Wagner, potentially. Would you want him to stick around? Carter Knox, I like him. I want Knox here.
Are you saying first-round picks, or are you saying transfer portal? That's what I'm saying.
Not first-round picks.
3 and 21 aren't going. You're not going to be first-round picks. I mean, is there potential there? Yes, you can see them playing in the NBA one day, but they're not ready.
Right, and that's what I mean. It's like if they were to think, well, I'm going to head to the NBA right now, you'd be like, well, where are you going to go? You're second round at most, and probably not even drafted in Wagner's
Well, I think
case.
you make more money in college, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are pieces on the current roster that could be part of a very good team, but it's just got to be deeper. I mean, like, I don't think you bring. I don't remember how many years or not that Adu or Nelly Davis may have left, and there have been rumors that there could end up being a blanket extra year for every player that's currently playing because of the House settlement and what's and the shakeup in college sports. would you want Adu to come back, hoping that he was the guy that was one of the top defenders in the SEC and an all SEC first teamer? Would you try to bring Davis back, hoping
321
that he can find his shot?
321, 11, and 44. Those are the four, maybe 24 as well. Those would be my five. If you're asking me, just if I had to whittle it down to five, those would be the five that I'd want to bring back.
And then cast a net far and wide. Now you got some really talented freshmen coming in next year with Sealy and Watkins. So take that into account too. And I'll hope that they're going to be players that are good enough not just to get minutes, but be really, really good players for you next year. And then you cast a net that's far and wide to build true depth.
And you have people that understand what it's kind of Coach Cal was behind it a little bit when he brought a couple people from Kentucky. It's not like some people didn't have knowledge of him, but people understand what's expected of you. So when new guys come in, you're always every time you go into a locker room, you see who the leader is, and I bet it was hard for all these guys to come into a locker room and. It kind of looks like there's not a leader to this team, and it really does. Like nobody's kind of taking it up. Everybody kind of got here, and they're all kind of like, well, who's the leader? Your best player's not playing anymore. So now it's like, well, who's the leader? Well, it's Nelly Davis. If you're not very good, it's kind of hard to be a leader. So then you're kind of looking now he can play defense. He can do other things, but he's not really coming to fruition. So they really look like they don't have a leader. So hopefully if you can keep 4, 5, 6 of these players that are nice pieces, I think it would help going with some continuity.
Here's Cecil on our hotline. Good morning, Cecil. How you doing?
Good morning, fellas. Matt, you nailed it. They don't have a leader, man. And those 5, I do agree. All the rest of them get on that portal and get on the back, hold on to the door, whatever they got to go. Whatever they got to do. And then what I'm sure the Calipari, he's an intelligent man. It just didn't, just like you said the other day, man. Hey, man, let's just face it, man. This just didn't fall right for us, Calipari, none of us. It didn't fall right for us. So you got to have some veteran players. I know that's what he's going to do, but you keep them babies because them babies are actually going to develop. But they really are good. They're physical. They need to work on their shot a little bit. But if we go into Kentucky playing very physical and slashing, and if we can get to even though if we don't just hit our shots, we can get an N1, put back, or we can go to the free throw line. And if we just like we did when we won that game, man, we shoot like 20 free throws. We hit a lot of them, and that's free throws are very important. And so I'm thinking that's what we can do at this Kentucky game because it's going to be hype for the babies because that's what they are, and they just know the history of it. I'm sure they've been online looking at stuff and whoopity whoop this and that. They accepted to play for Calipari for the money and for who his name also is too. So I think they're going to go in there and play really hard. And this Adu, man, he needs to go drink a Red Bull or something. Man, he just ain't got no energy at all, man. He's tall. I like Big Z. Big Z got big boy potentials, man. He could be really good, man. But he kind of needs the green light on just like over in the 2 area or something like that, because he can shoot. He can really shoot the 3. He don't weigh that much because he's so tall, but he can really shoot the ball really good, man. He need a bigger role. That's what I'm saying right there. If he had a bigger role, I think he could do better. But
I think he's getting a bigger role right now. He's played a lot more. He's played a lot more in the last couple of games.
Well, he has played a lot more. He has played a lot more.
When Adu didn't play in the second half, it was Z that got those minutes. So maybe that's I think that could be a signal as to what's to come in the near future. Appreciate the call, Cecil. Always good to hear from you.
Go get that big number 14 from Georgia. That's who I'd be. What are they? However you connect, whatever platform, whatever medium you use, but that's the best. He's a freshman. Ball skills, can dribble, understands the game, how to get you on. He's one of my favorite players I've seen Arkansas play.
It's Asa Newell.
I like that dude.
He's the one that fouled out just before Thero's free throws.
Dude's got game. That's how you want big guy that can move a little bit. 9 just doesn't. He just kind of I don't know. It's like he's not I'm not saying he's timid. He just let's go, man. Like he plays smaller than what he is. You know, he's supposed to be 6'11", 245, and he plays like he's 6'7".
I think the best hope for Arkansas to beat Kentucky is that Lamont Butler is still hurt. Whatever it is that he doesn't play today against Tennessee, because even with Chrysler, who's been out for over a month, nearly 2 months now, they still scored a really high level. I think you need him to be hurt. I hate to put it in those terms, because the fewest points Kentucky has scored in a game this year is 65 against Ohio State. You know how difficult it is for Arkansas to get to 65 points right now? Incredibly difficult. On the road, look, and I know Kentucky's not a great defensive team, but the Hogs are not a great offense. They're not even a good offensive team right now. Getting to 65 on the road in Rupp is going to be really tough to do. So, no, I don't feel really good about Saturday's game at all for that reason alone.
I think the Hogs are going to have to make 10 threes if they want to beat Kentucky. Can they make 10 threes in a basketball game? If they want to, obviously they can't get out rebounded by 20, but if they're going to play with Kentucky, we have to shoot the ball better. We can't go 3 of 21 from the three-point line.
Let's break. We'll wrap up the first hour of halftime right after this.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
This is halftime.
The Capital One pre-approval sale has been extended at Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw. Troy, the weather a few weeks ago kind of derailed the sale, but you got it extended now through the end of the month.
Yes, Capital One was nice enough, man. They worked with us, and they extended this sale until the end of this month, the 31st, which is on a Friday. So come and see us, Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford. You know, we pride ourselves in the prices and the deals that we give our customers. You know, we want to make sure you get the best deal on a car, not just with us, not just with the price of the car, but the best deal with the bank that you finance with. And with Capital One giving us this pre-approval sale and allowing us to extend it, you don't just get the best price on the car, but you get the best financing on the car too. So come and see us and let us get you the best deal on a new Ford.
It's the Capital One pre-approval sale only at Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw. Come and see all the details right here. You can always see the inventory online at harryrobinson.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Cold Man Winter is here, bringing cold, nasty weather. And Jelco Outdoors has all the gear to keep you warm and dry. Insulated coats, jackets, overalls, coveralls, thermal socks, and gloves. For kids, up to men's 4X. Jelco Outdoors has the largest selection of winter boots in the River Valley to keep your feet warm and dry. Need a portable heater? Jelco has plenty of Mr. Heater portable propane heaters and accessories. Come see us at Jelco Outdoors. Stay safe and stay warm this winter. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith, your cold weather store.
Hey everyone, Erica Jensen here at AAA Business Systems in Northwest Arkansas. Are you happy with your current office technology provider? Did you know that AAA Business Systems has been in business since 1979 and longer than any other provider in Northwest Arkansas? Listen up, I may be a Cajun girl at heart, but I'm a Razorback through and through. Call me today at 479-442-4185 to learn more about the one company that can truly change the way you work and remember anything else is just a copy.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at GoForsgren.com. That's GoForsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Are you in the market for a new office printer or multifunction device? Look no further. At Dixie Digital Imaging, we bring a legacy of experience and a rock-solid reputation. Our state-of-the-art solutions are tailored to meet your business needs seamlessly. Why settle for anything less? Call us now at 479-783-6600 to get a quote on your next office printer or multifunction device. Elevate your office efficiency with Dixie Digital Imaging, where experience and reputation meet excellence. That's Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley. Valley.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
It's time to take a stand. Brothers and sisters,
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Hey, make sure you get over to our hitthatline.com page. Help us raise money for Arkansas Children's Northwest next round of expansion at hitthatline.com. Our Magic and Miracles Radiothon at Arkansas Children's Northwest taking place Friday, February 21st. We will all be there. So help us raise funds at hitthatline.com. You see the halftime link on the page. Click it and donate. And we thank you, and thanks to Schlotzky's for being our presenting sponsor. Also want to make sure that I want our listeners to know I'm thinking right now of a super Razorback fan, Camden Riley, who actually, before I knew he was a super Razorback fan, I knew him as a tennis instructor. Taught my daughter some tennis about 6 years ago. He's an outstanding person, and he's been battling cancer for a long, long time now. You find him at virtually every single Razorback event. I see him in the hog pen during baseball games. He had to go back into the ER in Washington Regional Sunday. And just hoping for a quick recovery for him, because his spirit is unlike anybody's, and he's fighting the kind of thing that could really make you give up. But he's got a lot of people behind him. So Camden Riley, we're thinking of you. 877-377-6963 for any calls or texts on halftime today. So let's see what we got coming up in the second hour.
I saw this, Phil.
Yes.
I got a question for you. So MLB The Show, Ella De La Cruz, Gunnar Henderson, and Paul Skeens are the three guys that are going to be on the cover. You get one guy. Who you taking?
Skeens. I want the pitcher.
So Ella De La Cruz, he's the shortstop. Who is Gunnar Henderson?
He's with the Orioles.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Really
exciting.
Those are the three
too.
on it. So you want the pitcher? What does he play? Third?
He's
He's short too.
The Holiday's
Outfielder?
their shortstop.
Oh, he's
I think he's an
outfielder.
outfielder. That's right. I want the pitcher. I want the dominant pitcher. Even though he plays just once every 5 days, he can do so much for your team. I'm going to take the pitcher, but only if he's a real ace and not if he's on the Pirates, because that ruins a career. Good question, though. Very good. Hey, just to have a Pirate on the cover of something that isn't, like a Sports Illustrated from 1992 is pretty exciting. Second hour of halftime coming up in a moment. Alyssa Orange, Pig Trail Nation, will join us at 12:15, so we're wide open for you right when we come back after this.
Ready to explore beyond the beaten path? Discover the Range Rover lineup at Land Rover of Little Rock. Experience handcrafted luxury with the capability to take on any adventure. The elegant Range Rover offers unmatched performance and first-class luxury. The Range Rover is built for every journey. Visit Land Rover of Little Rock today and explore our incredible Range Rover selection. Plus, take advantage of our promotions and recently revamped service department. Visit us at 25 Colonel Glenn Plaza Drive or log on at LandRoverLittleRock.com.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at limbirdteam.com. LIMBIRD.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment, or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
AAA Business Systems is your printer, copier, and production print solutions provider. What makes AAA unique? Ricoh, Sharp, and Brother Equipment. Fast, friendly service from our office technology experts. All-inclusive service contracts, managed IT services, and 4 locations statewide. AAA Business Systems. Find us online at AAABM.com. AAA Business Systems. Anything else is just a copy.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South C Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. Our high this afternoon, upper 50s to near 60. Cloud cover will roll back in tonight. Overnight low will drop down in the upper 30s to low 40s. Limited sunshine on Wednesday. Highs will be right around the upper 50s to near 60 with a few scattered showers of storms across the south. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grant Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris Fort Smith. You're listening to ESPN 95.3.
They're on a mission. This team wants to make sure that we get to the end.
All of the Omahawks. Yes, sir.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you. Man, I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Matt Jones, man, take it to the house. And the dunk.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
But they were one racerback.
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Turn it.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back. 1 minute after 12 o'clock in the afternoon, our second hour here on Halftime. You're listening to ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com, and the Hit That Line Now app. I am Phil Elson, Matt Jones, my partner, and Christian Johnston producing. Alyssa Orange, Pig Trail Nation, about 15 minutes from right now. Matt asked me a question in the last segment about the MLB The Show baseball game that kind of piqued my interest about maybe something that we'll have a feeling on in a couple of months. Who do you think is going to be on the cover of the 2026 EA Sports College football video game? And I'm talking about players that actually will have their last name facing. I don't know if that'll be the design of the front cover of the game like it was for this past season, but there were 6 players who were highlighted on that cover. I think only one of them is going to be back in college in college football next year, and that is Carson Beck. Beck, of course, was wearing the Georgia jersey on this video game, and he was a front runner for Heisman Trophy, first-round pick. Now he's a Miami Hurricane. He's going to be making more money than any rookie in terms of salary. Quinn Ewers, Travis Hunter, Quinshot Judkins, and Jalen Milroe, and Donovan Edwards were the other players there. So,
the receiver from Ohio State.
Yeah, Jeremiah Smith.
I think Beck makes another appearance, and I think they do that collectively, Phil. I don't know that there's, college. I think they want to highlight different players. And I don't know. I think just because his last name, I think Arch Manning, those would be three that I think would be on there.
I think without question.
What about
three.
Downs? Do you think you got to put a defensive player? Is he the best?
You have to have a defensive
He's
player.
the best defensive player coming back.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is so many of the players that you might think of are headed to the NFL, or out of eligibility. Warren at Penn State, Scadaboo at Arizona State.
He would have been marketable, huh? After the thing, like if he would have had another year left, he would have been very marketable.
Drew Aller, maybe that could be one.
Picture of him beside Amber Heard, the way he played in the bowl game. I mean, golly, he's got to play better.
Amber Heard did not play college football, Matt. I don't think she would fit into the helmet at all. Her head's way too small for it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Let's go to Charlie, who's giving us a call here. Charlie, who do you think is going to be on the cover of this video game? Because I know you played it, because you've told us about some bad. I think you and CEA Sports have played each other a few times, right?
Man, me and C Unit have played against each other, and yeah, man, it's one of the best games that I've ever played in a long time, And I was going to say Arch Manning as soon as you asked it. Like, I was thinking in my head Arch Manning immediately, because obviously I remember last year there was a so-called he wasn't going to be in the game, right? And then this big old fat NIL deal comes out or whatever, and he signs it, and then he's in it. So I'm like, yeah, he's marketable, so I would definitely go him. And I'm with Matt. I think, Beck probably makes another appearance, and you got to throw Downs in there too, right? I mean, they also, a lot of times what they'll do, Phil, is they'll make a Legends edition, or they'll make a this edition and that edition, and maybe they switch it up this year. I don't know. We'll see. But I was calling. I was thinking. My dad yesterday, he hit me up, and he was like, "Hey son, did you go back and watch that introductory press conference?" He says, "I promise you, it has a play and a stop button, so every time Jerry talks, you can skip his part." He was telling me. He said, "You know what? Oh, Schottenheimer sold him." And I said, "Well, what sold you about him?" And he said, "Well, one of the things that sold me, my dad is a huge Pete Carroll fan. I have no idea why, but he just is, because he's always wanted the Cowboys to get him for something like that. It ain't going to happen." But according to Schottenheimer yesterday in that, press conference, he talked about Pete Carroll being one of his bigger influences. So that kind of sold him. And also, something about his family and the way he talked about his family. Obviously, his dad, we know who he is. But I think, I was thinking about the Dan Campbell situation. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Now, it may be a little different, but he had no coaching experience when he got in, correct? Am I right about that? Zero.
I don't remember his full coaching background, but I know he hadn't been a head coach before.
Well, my thing is, and I remember when that interview happened, he's talking about biting people and everybody was going at him and all this and that. And now we look back and I'm like, wow, that was a darn good hire. Here's my problem, though, and I told my dad this. I said, look, I went back and watched the whole Shoddy part, and all the times that he talked, I did the same thing my dad did. I skipped through any time Steven and Jerry talks. I don't want to hear them. But Shoddy did sell me, in a sense. But my thing is he going to be allowed to do what he talked about? And that's my whole issue with the Cowboys, and that's what me and C Cowboy talk about. Like, it's exactly that. It's not necessarily the coach per se, but if you're going to be allowed to do the things that you talk about. Now, Matt, he did talk about this from a philosophy standpoint, and I want you to explain this, but he talked about the Cowboys in the last few years have been one of the lowest percentage teams on offense to run motion with their splits. They're wide. They're one of the wide split teams. Like, they do that more than anybody. They don't use a lot of motion. They've been towards the bottom of the league. He talked about yesterday they were going to incorporate that, and he was a huge fan of close split formations. Like, and that's kind of where those West Coast systems are, the Shanahan type stuff. And I want you to explain that, but I know what it is, obviously, but you can explain it. But my thing is he going to really be allowed to do that? Because if they can do these things that he talked about, man, I gotta, and there were a lot of players there, so I think they are a fan of him. And but yeah, it still feels like a Jason Garrett hire. I just hope that he's allowed to do, what he can do to prove himself as a coach, because it's hard to prove yourself if the person over you won't move out of the way. That's all I'm saying, and that's just where I'm gonna leave it at. Anyways, by the way, Phil, you need to get that new college football game so you can run with me and see unit. We need a third member. That's what you need to do. You or Matt.
I mean, there's so much free time in life right now. I could definitely spend about 3 hours a day playing college football video games.
Just to get set up, it's $1,000 commitment too. So I know you got, yeah.
Exactly right.
Y'all have a good one, man.
Thank you very much, Charlie.
What motion does is it helps you as an offense that when you change formations, you shift and you use motions. It just alerts you. It gives you an advantage because you know what the defense is doing. You see how the defense adjusts to it. So there's only so many things they can do. That's why you do. That's why what do the Chiefs do? It's like they motion every single time. You're letting him read the defense.
Look, it's not. This hire could work out. Who knows? You never know about this kind of stuff. You really don't. I mean, I end up thinking about like the team that I grew up with. The Steelers never hired a coach who'd been a head coach before. It's worked for them in 3 different iterations over the course of, close to 50 years now. This can work. I just don't. I understand you got to at least make it seem like you really wanted to hire this person. But when you announce the hire like late afternoon on a Friday, those are called news dumps because no one's paying attention on a Friday afternoon. It's just it doesn't come across like this was the thought to begin with. It doesn't mean it won't work. That's never the case. You can point to it and say this is like a Jason Garrett hire, and Garrett had himself 3 really good years there with the Cowboys. They just didn't win when it mattered.
Well, I
just don't want to be told that this was exactly the hire you wanted, and the whole process you went through was a good process. I just think this was a matter of comfort.
Well, when you talking about those Pittsburgh teams, you think who'd they have? Carson Palmer for Cincinnati. Mark Bolger. You're trying to think who were the Ravens quarterbacks, and then you had the Browns. So you had the best quarterback in your division with the best defense. So you're thinking now, if you're the Cowboys, you don't have the best defense, you don't have the best quarterback in your division. You're sitting in 3rd place already.
That's right. And that's a good way to look at it. Let's take a call from Matt in Springdale before the break. Matt, thanks for calling. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Thanks for taking my call. Listen, I don't have much. I just thought I'd throw a long shot, a dark horse person, maybe for the front cover of that game. I'm not a gamer myself. Hadn't played. I think I play one time a year around Christmas. It's a tradition to get beat in that game by my brother-in-law. But what about Diego Pavia?
Oh, Pavia, yeah. The face of junior college football, right?
Right, that's right. Put Vandy on the map. They become the talk of the country.
What about a cutoff hoodie Belichick with a Tar Heel?
That's right. That's right. Well, that's all I got, fellas. Thanks for your show. I wanted to call and say hey.
Matt, thanks a lot.
You think it could be a coach's edition if you put Coach Sanders, you put Ryan Day, you put Belichick? I mean, instead of players, would you ever see them doing something where they're kind of putting some coaches on there?
Well, there's certainly names everybody can connect with. By the way, did you see Dion on? They were very briefly yesterday on the SNL 50 Years of Music. I don't remember who it was that they showed him introducing, but I'd forgotten. Deion Sanders was an SNL host when he was playing, I think, for the Cowboys.
Prime time.
He had that wet hair. He had the little bit of the Jerry curl going on. I pointed to my daughter because, she's all into football and everything, and she'll ask about Deion Sanders and be like, look, there he is. Oh, you missed it. It literally was like a split second. But he was up there. Brought to you by Crabtree RV Center in Alma. That's the dealership that continues to serve our listening audience, going for over 7 decades. Crabtree RV Center is at the location of I-40 and I-49, where it comes together in Alma, right beside the Cracker Barrel. Helping your family find the best RV for the adventures that you are describing to the salespeople. Service and parts departments on site. They get everything you need at Crabtree RV. CrabtreeRV.com to get started. And Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation stops by with us right after this.
I'm kind of a big deal. People know me.
This is halftime.
Bud Walton Arena, where it is about as loud as a building could get. The loudest arena to start a game I've ever been in.
This is a hard place. You don't come here expecting to win. Let me tell you that.
The name, the brand, the identity that he brings to a program that has a storied, rich tradition, an outstanding fan base in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Old Man Winter is here, bringing cold, nasty weather. And Jelco Outdoors has all the gear to keep you warm and dry. Insulated coats, jackets, overalls, coveralls, thermal socks, and gloves. For kids, up to men's 4X. Jelco Outdoors has the largest selection of winter boots in the River Valley to keep your feet warm and dry. Need a portable heater? Jelco has plenty of Mr. Heater portable propane heaters and accessories. Come see us at Jelco Outdoors. Stay safe and stay warm this winter. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith, your cold weather store.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They are open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts needs, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing, and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
At Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC, we dial 782-8940.
This is Joe Calderera with Taliano's Restaurant. We call 782-8940.
Keep warm this winter with a York high-efficiency furnace. Or for more information on endless hot water and a high-efficiency tankless water heater, give Blaylock Heating, Air, and Plumbing Services a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A new era of chicken is here to stay, and it's not your parents' poultry. The Cantina Chicken menu from Taco Bell is slow roasted and perfectly seasoned. Take it tacoed up in a crispy white corn tortilla with cheese inside and out, or wrapped in a burrito with fresh purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. However you like it, you'll never chicken the same way again. Get yours today at your nearest Taco Bell and join rewards to earn free food. Available at participating stores. Rewards points are earned on qualifying purchases. All items while supplies last. Subject to terms. The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
Well, I knocked to a window to leave her a note. Will you call me at the back of the grove? All the trees were in bloom. That sweet smell in the air. We were trembling together. We were young, we were scared, yeah. True love, hard to find. I can feel it, yeah. Blossom, there.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
And Pig Trail Nation Sports Director Alyssa Orange with us for a Tuesday visit. Always appreciate you, Alyssa. Thanks for coming on. What's going on today?
Hello. Hi, guys. Always great to see you. Hear you, I guess. Not much. It's kind of rocking and rolling today.
Yeah, don't have a midweek game to worry about. You got other SEC teams that are playing this week. It's interesting. I'm seeing some quotes from the Cal radio show. I had some of the quotes that we had recorded. This one is just one that I'm reading about the last play against the Oklahoma game. And you can see it's like, well, you brought in Nelly Davis to score, make big shots for you all throughout the game. The end of the game, too, Cal admitted they wanted that last play to go through Nelly. It didn't work out that way. But, you know, I mean, it's not – look, I don't expect a turnaround. But if you're going to win basketball games, Nelly Davis is going to need the ball in his hands. He's going to need to score, which just means he needs to shoot. And unfortunately, right now, those shots don't really go in very often.
Yeah, well, I also think, you know, and I get it, right? That's exactly the point of why you brought him here, is to help you win games, just like how that game ended on Saturday. But the problem is that I have is, we've talked about this before, he's not the guy right now that you want with the ball in your hands, in my opinion, at the end of the game. Like, where is Adu Thiero? Where is DJ Wagner, who has been scoring not only all game, but really the last handful of games, who have kind of been, if anything, somewhat consistent for you through SEC play? Get the ball to those guys. I mean, you saw what Adu Thiero was able to do at the end of that win over Georgia. Like, trust the guy who's been doing it so far. And I get that you want Nelly Davis to get some confidence, and like, but he needs to be getting confidence throughout the entirety of the game, not when the game is on the line at the last couple of seconds. In my opinion, I thought the ball should have gone to Adu Thiero or DJ Wagner.
100% with you right there, Alyssa. Hey, I'm trying to find something positive. Big Z's coming along a little bit.
Yes.
I really like what I see out of Carter Knox. Maybe those are kind of our bigs. Jonas Adu, he's 6'9", 245. He just doesn't play that way. He plays a little smaller. But Big Z's coming on, and I think Carter Knox. I don't know. Phil and I were talking about this earlier. Like, how many of these guys are going to be Razorbacks next year? Is everything just a one-off? Are you trying to develop any of these players? Who are some of these guys you might want back on the team next year?
Yeah, man, it'd be really great if you could have Big Z and Carter Knox back a season ago. You know, there's guys like Trevin Brazil and Jonas Adu who just aren't going to be back. But when you look at the roster, and you can have Adu Thiero, obviously Boogie Fland, because these guys who have eligibility, right? Like, if you could keep the guys who had the eligibility, Adu Thiero, Boogie Fland, DJ Wagner, and Carter Knox, Billy Richmond, like, that's a really good core group of guys who could come back and play again next season, specifically Carter Knox and Billy Richmond, who have played in all 20 games, and you just really like the fire that they bring. I think Billy still has got a lot of development to do. I like him defensively, but offensively still kind of getting his feelings and his bearings. But we talked, I think, last week about who's going to step up now that Boogie Fland is out, and I think we really saw Carter Knox realize that, like, this is my opportunity. And so you see him in the starting lineup, you see him playing, he plays with that, like, you know, I think Cal has said this, like, where's our fire? Where's our energy, our passion? Like, he's like, I saw one passion play a few games ago, and it was when DJ Wagner went and started hyping up the crowd. He's like, where has that been? I think Carter Knox plays with a little bit of that. And that's why he's in the lineup, because he kind of plays with that excitement of, like, he still loves this game of basketball. And they all do. I get that. But he's got that, like, raw freshman passion that is still exciting to play that could easily be very contagious to the rest of the guys on the court.
Yeah, I would think hopefully by now we would have been having a different conversation about basketball, but it does become no, it really does. It does become start talking about next year. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Well, you still have another month of games left, and I mean there still is. They're saying there's a chance. I don't know how small it is, but I'm sure it's small that a team could go on a run and make an NCAA tournament. But I think if we're realistic about things, this is not the team to be able to do that. There have been some shocking things happen in the world of sports. That would be one of them.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I think you guys are right. I think this team's season ends in Nashville unless they go on some kind of tournament run at the SEC tournament and win the whole thing, which would be insane. But I think you guys are right. I mean, and I hate to be that person, but you also have to say, okay, I mean, you can't just keep sitting here shooting for the stars at this point in time when just, there's really not a whole lot of pathways that get you to a postseason.
Well, something in postseason, we got the Super Bowl coming up. I know we're going to get to talk to you next week as well. But, I mean, that AFC Championship game, what a game.
Man.
Same thing in the NFC. What were your thoughts over this weekend, those two games? And who is your favorite to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think we were talking about last week, and I said, obviously, I hate the Bills as much as I do. And y'all should have seen my face when I pulled into my house on Sunday afternoon, and my son, Finn, goes, hey, Mom, what time is that Bills-Chiefs game? And I was like, I think it's at 5. He goes, okay, I'm rooting for the Bills. Go Bills. And gets out of the car. And I just sat there in shock. Like, what? I am failing as a parent. All that to be said, I really wanted Buffalo to win that game because I just want something new and something different. And I really wanted Washington to win that game because I grew up an hour and a half from D.C., and my mom was born and raised a Washington fan, but that didn't happen. So I would like to see Jalen Hurts win a ring.
No Chiefs fatigue or anything. It's kind of funny, too, when the way that you can pass along the passion you have for your team. Sometimes it can be a little difficult to pass along the hatred you have for other teams, So I feel like I've done that with my daughter. She gets on the Browns, she gets on the Ravens. So you just,
Nice.
He just needs a few more years of reasons to hate them.
Right. Yeah. No, he doesn't quite understand, and it doesn't really help Mom that they're so good right now. And, Josh Allen is fun to watch. And Tua Tagovailoa seems to be hurt all the time. It's a hard sell at the moment. And then on top of it, we live in Chiefs country, and all his buddies at school love the Chiefs. And yeah, it's a tough life. It's a tough life. But, I think we're going to be fly, Eagle fly for the Super Bowl on Sunday here in a couple weeks.
So let's get into baseball and the softball team here for a moment. Now, admittedly, I haven't checked on preseason softball polls or anything, but I do expect that Courtney's team is going to be highly ranked coming in. Obviously, baseball already is highly ranked. Baseball America put them, I think, 4th in their preseason poll. The thing that's difficult, and you try to do this with basketball, and I think sometimes it's tough to do this, is to see through the hype, to try to figure out what concerns for the team will be. We know the hype, so what could be the thing that holds a team back from reaching where these writers, and when the coaches poll comes out too, coaches feel that they can get to. And for me, and I don't know if we brought this up last week, I think an important aspect of something that has to happen is that some of the returners, we focus so much on transfer portal, returners have to pop. As good as Veheva Aloy was last year, he's got to be better. He's got to be better in the field. He's got to be more. He's got to make more contact, drive more runs in. Same with Souza. Same with Helfrich. These are the ones that knows what it's like to be a Razorback. They're the ones fans have already connected with. They're also incredibly talented. It's not a concern of mine. It's just if this team is going to get where like Baseball America thinks they can get, these guys have to pop.
Yeah. The name you forgot is Kendall Diggs. I mean, I don't think there's anyone who doesn't not only want but needs to have a big season than Kendall Diggs. And I kind of talked about this yesterday on our show that the top 5 productive bats in their lineup from a season ago are gone. And so you've got to look at Vahiva Aloy and Kendall Diggs and Nolan Souza and get, obviously Ryder Helfrich, who's going to be much more of a starter this season than he was last year, some opportunities and get those bats going. And so that's what I'm really, again, not a concern, just a question mark. We sat down with Nate Thompson last week, and I asked him about this team, and he said, we have power, which they love power. They love hitting home runs. Who doesn't? But he does think that they're going to have a little bit more of a speed ball. They're going to be playing a little bit more small ball, use their speed on the base pass to be able to kind of generate some offense and get some runs and do things maybe we haven't seen Arkansas teams do a ton of in the past, looking at, bunting, some small ball maybe, Phil. But what is this offense really going to look like? Because you do have some weapons and you have some flexibility to mix things up a little bit. And with Nate Thompson not being on third base, down at the third baseline anymore in the coach's box and being right beside DVH, like how much does that change offensively in the dynamic when they're talking about things, the signs, talking to batters right there in the batter's box instead of being all the way down at the third baseline? I'm really curious to see exactly how much that changes the offense and the offensive approach this year for the baseball team.
And with baseball, it almost feels just like a foregone conclusion that you're going to be really good in the regular season. You may win a division top. Well, we don't do divisions anymore in the SEC, but you'll be near the top of the standings, if not right at the top. But to so many fans, that's all nice and good, and I think they enjoy it, but it's all what happens in June. And that feels that's where softball is as well. And I don't know where they're in the preseason polls, but I'm assuming that they're really high up there. Arkansas to get back to Omaha to win a national title for the first time, and for softball to make it to Oklahoma City for the first time because the road has been out there for them to do it.
Yeah, you're right. Well, you did ask me what I was doing when I first jumped on the radio with you guys, and I said I was just chilling, but I was re-listening to Courtney Deifel's press conference she had a few weeks ago, and she kind of said the same thing. She goes, I know that a lot gets looked at as to what that last weekend of the season looked like and how it unfolded, but they still had a really good year last year. And that was a team that she felt like never really fired completely as a team, but still had a really good year. We're always just looking at what that last weekend looks like, and it's the same with the baseball team, but they've got some preseason stuff that have come out. They're right there at 14, 13, 10, so right there really in the top 15 in the country heading into the season. They've got a lot of talent coming in as a freshman, a lot of talent coming in from the transfer portal, and then you got girls like Bri Ellis and Kennedy Miller coming back, which this team is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I obviously played the sport my whole life, so I'm a little biased there, but I do love when softball season starts, and I love going out to those games because they're fun, but it's all about, I think, when you look at the baseball team, when we just talked about their offense, what's going to happen in the circle. You have Robin Herron back this year for this softball team, but she really wasn't a consistent face like we were so used to seeing with a Shanice Delph or a Mary Haff or a, Autumn Storm. Like, they need that one pitcher that feels like can win games day in and day out instead of a pitch by committee, which I felt like last season was. So that's my biggest question with this softball team. Like, what do these pitchers look like in the circle?
When's the last time you took some swings in the cages?
Whoo, man. Gosh, honestly, it might have been trying to hit off Shanice. It's been a while. I should get back out there, though.
We need to get you up to Bubba's baseball facility. He's got softball, too, and everything. He's got everything you need. Yeah. We could go, side by side, different cages. I'll bet you hit the ball farther and harder than I do. I'll bet that's the case.
Well,
you just got to make sure you do some stretching beforehand, Alyssa, because I'll vouch for it. The back and the side
Yeah, so-
muscles, if you're not used to it, it hurts a bit.
Yeah, it does. You forget that those muscles exist if you don't use them after a while. You know, now that you've said this on the radio, now that it is actually out there in the universe, I'm going to make sure I'm going to hold you to it. We're going to get with Bubba. We're going to find a day to go over there.
I'm all for it. You put me in those cages there, there's no way that I'm not going to take some swings, even if I'm just doing the show there for a place to do it. All right? All right, we'll figure that out. Alyssa. Maybe
Great,
we'll do
we'll
it
see you
live
there.
on the radio, too, because everybody just loves listening to people take batting practice. It's
That's
Alyssa
right.
Orange
No
with
better
us.
sound, in my opinion.
Alyssa, thanks for these visits on Tuesdays. Have a great rest of the week.
Yeah, guys. You too.
It's Alyssa Orange, Pig Trail Nation. Matt, you need to get in the cages, too. You be a part of this. Or you can pitch to us.
Well, I'd have to pitch lefty.
Let's get it.
I do a little golf swing with you. I'd shoot some basketball with you, but yeah, I don't know. I could hold the camera. Good video.
Or you could just stand off to the side and heckle us, because I think there'll be a lot of reason to heckle. Calls and texts on halftime come in at 877-377-6963. We'll be right back after this.
Hasta la vista, baby.
This is halftime.
Something amazing is happening in workplaces everywhere. Devices are learning how people work and adapting to help them get more done. That's because CDW is modernizing experiences with Dell's intelligent portfolio of devices. Thanks to built-in security and AI capabilities, your teams can work smarter wherever they may be. Dell and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Dell Client.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
This is halftime.
The Capital One pre-approval sale has been extended at Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw. Troy, the weather a few weeks ago kind of derailed the sale, but you've got it extended now through the end of the month.
Yes, Capital One was nice enough, man. They worked with us, and they extended this sale until the end of this month, the 31st, which is on a Friday. So come and see us, Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford. You know, we pride ourselves in the prices and the deals that we give our customers. You know, we want to make sure you get the best deal on a car, not just with us, not just with the price of the car, but the best deal with the bank that you finance with. And with Capital One giving us this pre-approval sale and allowing us to extend it, you don't just get the best price on the car, but you get the best financing on the car too. So come and see us and let us get you the best deal on a new Ford.
It's the Capital One pre-approval sale only at Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw. Come and see all the details right here. You can always see the inventory online at harryrobinson.com.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Are you tired of the same old smelly gym? Then it's time to try something new. Let's Hang Out. The Hangout Fitness and Sports is the River Valley's only multi-sport family-friendly facility with a 24-hour gym and indoor courts for tennis and pickleball. With over 8,000 square feet for the gym alone, it's never overcrowded. The Hangout has certified trainers on staff with group personal training available. If HIIT, bar, yoga, or Pilates is your thing, they have that too. Join today and get January for free with a 3-month commitment. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's Hang Out.
Hi, this is Truett Tollett with WT Equipment. We're here to help you get ready for the year ahead. Take advantage of our small engine shop special. Just $129 to service your mower or handheld equipment, any brand. Don't wait, this offer ends February 28th. While you're here, check out New Holland Tractors, Bobcat Equipment, and more. Tough, reliable, and ready to work as hard as you do. Visit any of our locations or online at WTEquip.com. WT Equipment. Equip your future, elevate your potential.
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Did you ever watch old Talking Heads performances and think, what did David Byrne ingest before he got up on stage or started this video? He's got the widest eyes that I could ever see. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just who he is. But I saw that also last night on that 50th anniversary music special for SNL. Wasn't wearing the giant sport coat, though. I always think of him with the giant sport coat. 877-377-6963 calls and texts on Halftime. So I don't know if you saw this the other day, Matt. So you got Alabama at Mississippi State tomorrow. Alabama sat Mark Sears for the entire second half against LSU. Nate Oates said he didn't like the energy his team was playing with, and he sat his top scorer, sat his most experienced player for the entire second half while they ended up beating LSU. And the scene on the bench was interesting. I wasn't watching the game live, but I did go back and watch at least some of Sears on the bench. And he's wiping his eyes, and he looks incredulous. And one of the assistants is continuously talking to him and, just trying to calm him down or whatnot. And Sears' parents went on social media to defend their son, but also said, they understand Coach Oates is making a decision here. And it just hit me. It's like, what kind of a roster do you have in this day and age where you can sit your best player, your face of the program right now for an entire second half, admittedly against a team that's not very good, and still win, and then the next day talking about how Sears seemed to respond to it in practice and everything. It's just, you can't do that at Arkansas. I don't think you'd have been able to do that at Arkansas nonetheless, just because of the number of players that were going to get minutes. It's just, and Alabama keeps scoring and winning, whether they had Sears or not. For those 20 minutes, it's the fewest minutes he'd played since his freshman season.
I mean, they could do that against Arkansas. They could probably just play Sears the first half and still beat us. I mean, that's that's when you have a talent gap like that. LSU, I guess we're the bottom. Are we last place in the SEC? So
no, Hogs have a win. Carolina's the only winless team. They're 0-7.
We're next to last place. LSU's right there with us. There's a big talent gap. I watch the Hogs play. I've seen them play every SEC game. There is a have and a have-nots, and we don't have it this year. That's just all there. I mean, you watch I've seen us play. They're a have and have. LSU doesn't have it either. Oklahoma's not that good either. Georgia's not that good. Ole Miss, Florida, Tennessee, yeah, I like those. Missouri, yeah, we'll find out. Kentucky. So that's the thing. I think what Coach Cal's talking about. The games we should have won, we didn't win. So that's why you're kind of like, oh my goodness, what's going on?
So it's also not a matter of a fluke. You're like, well, we didn't win that game because this happened or that happened, or we didn't get the calls, or we didn't win this game because, some fluky play happened and we should have won that. No, it's not a matter of any fluke at all. The fluke is that Cal put a roster together that doesn't win basketball games. That's the fluke. And a guy in a career that's gone as a head coach since the early 90s, if this is to be potentially only the second team or the third team that he's had with a losing record, that's the fluke. Now, I know there are a lot of Kentucky fans and probably some others that spoke to Jeff Goodman that don't think it's a fluke, and they'll enjoy what they're watching right now. But I happen to think it is a fluke. And I guess we'll have it proven to us whether or not it is next year. By the time we're having this conversation again next year, it's like I had to give you props, Matt, because it was about a year ago that you predicted Ohio State would win the national championship in football, and you nailed it. If we're talking about basketball in a year for Arkansas, I bet you it's a much more fun conversation than we've been having over this last month. Because the fluke, if you're just looking at the proof, and the proof is Cal's career, the proof is his career record. And I know sometimes we say you're not necessarily what your record says you are. I think the record says it's exactly what he is. He's a Hall of Fame coach that's got to figure out a new way to put a roster together. It didn't work this year. I bet you it works next year.
You get Kentucky. So we go to Kentucky and Texas. I don't know. Alabama and LSU at home. Alabama's top team. You should be able to pay back LSU. Then you go to A&M and Auburn. So you're looking at this. You're thinking one win out of our next 6. I mean, do you see us doing any better than that?
Let's go baseball.
I mean, I think our best we can do is 2-4 at our next 6. You're telling me to look at our next 6 games, it's 4 road games and 2 home games against probably the top 3 or 4. Alabama's a top 5 basketball team. LSU, you can win. I don't see us beating at Auburn. I don't see us beating at A&M. I don't see us beating Alabama at home. I don't see us winning at Lexington. I don't see us win. There's one. I think we can go 1-5 in our next 6.
Oh man. And at that point, you're 2-11.
Now, if next year we're talking about this, then Coach Cal's got to go. That's it. You give him 2 years. If he does the same thing next year, he can't win 3 or 4 games in conference. Then you say, "Man, we messed up. Let's go get Jerome Tang from Kansas State."
I haven't even checked on how Kansas State is doing this year. They're not having a good season. I haven't even checked the Big 12 standings, so it probably won't be Jerome Tang then.
Well, I'd hope not.
They're 2-6, 8-11 overall. Yeah, so wouldn't be him. But that's the fluke. The fluke is what's happening right now. The fluke is losing 6 of 7 SEC games. Yeah, and if you're having the conversation again next year, something's wrong. Something is really wrong. I don't think that's the case. This is I hate the idea that it would be a lost season, but maybe it is. Well, you got to take a learning experience from that. And the learning experience is how to put a team together for next year. And you got to have a team that, look, I think it might be going to the extreme of like Oates sitting Sears for an entire second half. But what team in college basketball now can actually do that? Sit your best player for an entire second half and still win? I'd love to think that you could do that. Because Arkansas's top player, potentially, if you want to look at it in terms of
Auburn did it a couple games without their top
Boogie
player.
Flint. There you go, Janai Broom, but he was hurt.
But that's even more. He played. They played without him a couple games and they won them. All right, yeah.
877-377-6963 to get with this here. Now, I don't think it was a matter of just like sending a message. It was, we're not playing with energy. He's not playing with energy. And you can't allow that no matter what. If you sit a 5th-year senior who is probably making more money than anybody else on that team outside of the coach and has the track record of helping them get to that first Final Four in however long, and you can sit him and win it, that could be a real galvanizing thing moving forward. Like, that's a heck of a lot different than Jimmy Butler getting himself suspended for a 3rd time. Just because he doesn't want to play there anymore. Well, you don't want that guy on the team anymore. It doesn't seem to me Sears is any kind of a cancer on the team. You know, whatever happens in their next game against Mississippi State tomorrow, that'll tell you whether or not it worked for him. But how about your boy Jimmy Butler, man? Jimmy's suspended for a 3rd time. At some point, maybe it becomes like the referee in the NFC Championship game. If you keep breaking the rules, we're just going to kick you off the team. Well, I don't know if you can do that. The union has something to say about it.
Well, it's, that Marcus Rashford, Jimmy Butler, same thing with Mark Sears. When these kids, these athletes, a lot of times they've never heard the word no before. They've just and so the first time you have a little adversity, the first time it gets a little tough, the first time you hear the word no, first time you're not so pretty, you want to see your maturity. So I think you're right on, Phil. I think that says a lot about their point guard, their leader, that he's mature, that he understands it's not about him. The game of basketball is going to keep on going after he moves on. I like that. I think Alabama's that's one of those teams that you would have penciled in as saying that's a Final Four type of team.
Text from Ellis and Seth on the same theme here about, giving Calipari a pass or him learning how to put a team together. Why does he have to learn how to put a team together? It's a different world of college sports. And that's what Cal was talking about when he was hired here. It's a different way to put a team together. There are different factors involved in it. It's not just about relationships. And nobody here is giving him a pass. We're all talking here like this is a bad team. What do you want us to say, Ellis? Fire him because of one bad team? That's what we're talking about. If the conversation is the same next year, then you end up having a different conversation about that. We'll have much more to wrap up the second hour after this.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
This is Halftime.
Up to $10,000 off or $7,000 off and 0% financing on select 2024 GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off or take $7,000 in discounts and 0% financing with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
For decades, the Rebel Crawfish has been a tackle box staple. But now, get ready for the next generation. Introducing the all-new Rebel Matte series of Rebel Crawfish. 4 all-new ultra matte colors that eliminate glare and enhance realism, mimicking a natural crawfish like never before. The same iconic shape and swimming action, but now with a stunning matte finish. Upgrade to the all-new matte series of Rebel Crawfish today at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Dick's Sporting Goods, and local tackle shops everywhere. Rebel. Catch fish anywhere.
At Dobson Fiber, we're helping you build stronger connections by bringing the fastest internet network available to your business. Why fiber? Fiber internet provides reliable, symmetrical, blazing speeds. Without any interruptions or buffering, you can rely on Dobson for all your data needs. With Dobson Fiber as your premium internet provider, you can focus on the things that matter and the connections you build. To see if fiber is available to you, visit Dobson.net. Dobson Fiber, building stronger connections.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with
decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
Ready to explore beyond the beaten path? Discover the Range Rover lineup at Land Rover of Little Rock. Experience handcrafted luxury with the capability to take on any adventure. The elegant Range Rover offers unmatched performance and first-class luxury. The Range Rover is built for every journey. Visit Land Rover of Little Rock today and explore our incredible Range Rover selection. Plus, take advantage of our promotions and recently revamped service department. Visit us at 25 Colonel Glenn Plaza Drive or log on at LandRoverLittleRock.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
White shirt, not red, my bloody no sleeping. Tippy toes creeping up like no one knows. Think you're so criminal. Sis on both my knees for you. Don't say thank you. Oh please, I do what I want when I'm wanting through my soul. So cynical. So you're a tough guy, like you're really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy. Just always so puff guy. I'm that bad type, make your mama sad type, make your girlfriend mad type, might seduce your dad type. I'm the bad guy. Duh.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
3 Super Bowls were played on this date, January the 28th. The last one was Super Bowl 35, 2001. Tampa, Ravens' first Super Bowl win, beat the Giants 34-7. Gumbel and Sims on the call. The Backstreet Boys were the national anthem for that game. And talk about a halftime show. Aerosmith, Britney Spears, Nelly, Mary J. Blige, Ray Charles, and NSYNC. Ray Lewis was the MVP. A 30-second ad cost $2.1 million.
Man, 2001. I was a senior in high school.
That would have been my first year moving here. So I watched that Super Bowl about 3 weeks after moving into Arkansas. Also, the Cowboys' last Super Bowl win occurred today, 29 years ago, at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. NBC broadcast it. Dick Enberg, Phil Simms, Paul McGuire on the call. Of course, beat the Steelers 27-17. Larry Brown was the MVP. Vanessa Williams sang the anthem. Diana Ross was the halftime show, and a 30-second ad went for just under $1.1 million. The first Super Bowl played on this date, Super Bowl 24. Niners' fourth Super Bowl win, beat Elway and the Broncos 55-10. That's still the biggest margin of victory in a Super Bowl. CBS broadcast it. Summerall and Madden. Aaron Neville was the anthem singer. The halftime show, 3 guys I've never heard of: Pete Fountain, Ima Thomas, and Doug Kershaw. Joe Montana, the MVP. 30-second ad sold for $700,000. This year, 30-second ads going for $7 million, according to Forbes. Wow.
Don't you think when you look at Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady that Tony Romo and Al are better? Like, there's a lot of hate going on with Tom Brady. I like listening to Tom Brady talk, but I don't know that they work together. Is it more on Kevin Burkhardt, or is it because does Al does he help Tony along better? Like, or is it just Tony's more polished because he's been doing it for 6-7 years?
I think he and Nance just kind of work well.
Jim
together.
Nance, sorry, yeah.
I think he and Nance work well together. They sound like they enjoy each other.
That's what I'm saying. They're back and forth. It seems like it just flows. It seems like with Kevin and Tom, they're trying too hard.
Well, it's the first year they're working together too, so that's got to be an aspect of it.
You're right.
I'm interested to listen to Brady talk about, because it's rare that you actually have somebody who played in the Super Bowl who's going to be broadcasting it. I'm thinking of Phil Simms. He knows what it was like to play in that kind of pressure cooker. Madden knew what it was like to coach.
Bradshaw, did he ever do one? Did he ever do a game?
I don't think he did color. He would have been in the studios.
Ditka, did he? He might
I
have
don't
done
think
one.
Ditka did. He would have been in the studios. That's right. Third hour of halftime's coming up. We will be right back.
Up to $10,000 off or $7,000 off and 0% financing on select 2024 GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off or take $7,000 in discounts and 0% financing with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. Our high this afternoon, upper 50s to near 60. Cloud cover will roll back in tonight. Overnight low will drop down in the upper 30s to low 40s. Limited sunshine on Wednesday. Highs will be right around the upper 50s to near 60 with a few scattered showers of storms across the south. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Green Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. You're listening to ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris Fort Smith.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be a smart aleck like that.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that we respect it. Ask me if I'm all right. What can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
But they were one Razorback.
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Heard it.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Welcome back in. It's our third and final hour of halftime on ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com, and the Hit That Line Now app. Phil Elson here. My partner, Matt Jones, and Kristen Johnston is producing. Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio, about 15 minutes from right now, as we'll look in on the college football non-playing portion of the season, as Bill likes to say. So we have the new Cowboys head coach, and apparently going to be bringing in former Bears head coach Matt Eberflus as the new defensive coordinator. So you bring it on, I'm assuming, I think Schottenheimer said he'll be calling plays when it comes to Dallas on the offensive side. So now you know who your DC is going to be, Cowboys fans. And I wonder if people will be a little more excited about that than at least the head coaching hiring. We were getting into the Cowboys head coaching hiring earlier, kicked around some stuff about basketball team and SEC basketball coming out later tonight. Super Bowls, baseball, anything you want to get to with baseball. I've been sending answers back to people on the text line, 877-377-6963. And in the conversation last segment about Arkansas basketball, this isn't a matter of giving anybody a pass. I don't even really know what that means in this case. I know a lot of folks, and that's our conversation about basketball has been more about not the near future, but the long term in terms of the 25-26 season and what that team can look like. Now, it's understood this is not a good team. It's not what people thought you were getting when you signed John Calipari as the head coach, and I don't think it's what Cal expected. I don't think any coach really expects to drop 6 of your first 7 conference games. But it's not giving a pass. It's like you've listened to this show long enough that there isn't like we don't stand up on a box and shout and scream about it and call for people's jobs and they don't know what they're doing or anything. I just think it's a matter of reality when it comes down to this program. This ain't the year. It's the first year for John Calipari. I'm interested to see what he learns from this experience. It's a lot different from like a Sam Pittman going into his 6th year as the head coach. I think you got to take a program for the amount of time that the coach has been there, because it is that coach's program. So nobody here is like giving Cal a pass. What I'm saying is I look at someone's track record of taking 3 programs to Final Fours, 2 to national championship games, and 1 to a natty, and also doing it in a time where putting a roster together was different in the 90s than it was in the first decade of this century, and obviously Cal adjusted to that incredibly well. The thing is, how do you adjust how you put a roster together now? And I'd like to think that a Hall of Fame coach, who I think is very intelligent, is able to figure out how to do this moving forward. That's what that last segment's about. It's not a pass of saying, oh, just forget about this year's team and everything, and don't worry, it'll all be great in the future. It's a percentage. It's like, I'd like to trust the Hall of Fame coach because he's got the track record of doing this.
He's a competitor. That's you don't get to where he is without being a competitor. He's an alpha. So you give him a couple years. Yeah. I mean, if I think he'll figure it out as well, Phil. I just this year wasn't. Maybe don't believe anything in the preseason hype ever again in the history of sport. I mean, how do you? That's the thing. You tell us you're a top 4 team, and then you feel lied to. You're like, well, who says because some recruiting service said you had 5 and 4 stars or had all these. It's like, well, it has to come together, and it didn't come together this year. That doesn't mean he can't figure it out, and it can come together next year.
Hype is just a very difficult thing to understand sometimes. It's like there's a lot of hype about Arkansas baseball right now for very good reason. For one, and it's the same idea as with Cal, and even with his assistants. Some of them have been with him for a couple decades now. That track record does have to stand for itself at some point. The wins and the losses, understanding that there's always room for improvement, and sometimes there's room for a lot of improvement. And, looking at last year's baseball team, there was room for tons of improvement on the offensive side. And now you get to see how they address that specifically. Does the hype, like I remember going into the 2018 baseball season thinking, based on who's coming back, based on what I know about some of the kids that are coming in as freshmen, I think this team might have what it takes to win a national championship. Now, I wasn't doing a radio show then. I was going on some shows as a guest, and I talked about those things. But it's always an if, and you don't want to oversell something. I don't think the baseball team's being oversold in terms of the talent, the coaches, how they have proven to develop players. It might not have happened at times last year, but how they have proven to develop players, and they get better when they're at Arkansas many more times than not. But nobody wants to listen to hype. Nobody wants to buy into hype, and I really don't blame you for that. It's like nobody pays attention to. You can pay attention to preseason professional sports hype, but nobody's doing like a poll, and nobody takes power rankings seriously on ESPN. Nobody takes those preseason things seriously. But we're supposed to look at these preseason polls for football, for basketball, for baseball, for everything, and go off of that and say, well, these were the expectations that were set when the season started because this, X amount of people voted on that, and it doesn't always work out that way. And then every once in a while, there's the team that nobody expects anything from, and they end up going, all the way to or pretty close to it. That was the 2015 baseball season. But I think as long as Cal's the coach here, there's going to be a lot of hype. And as long as Dave Van Horn is the coach at Arkansas for baseball, there's going to be a ton of hype going in every season. Because the track record stands for itself. And even in recent years, Cal didn't have the postseason success. They were really good in the I thought that last year's Kentucky team really improved as the regular season went on. So hype is a funny thing. Sometimes it's really not even very funny, Matt. Sometimes it's annoying.
Well, maybe they can get to 4 SEC wins this year, and I do think next year will be better. I'm not saying it's going to be better, but I do think just you'll have some guys come back. You'll understand the landscape a little bit. But when I look at this schedule going forward for this year, I don't know if I see 3 wins. So, yeah, if they could find a way to get to 5 wins, then it's something you build on for next year.
I remember being in a couple of crowds that felt not angry, but they were looking for, and maybe retribution isn't the right word to use, when a fan base feels jilted or then has the opportunity once that player or coach returns and they really let him have it. I've been in a couple of those crowds when Barry Bonds first came back to Pittsburgh after signing with San Francisco. That was not a Pirates team that would usually sell out. That stadium sold out, and everybody there bought a ticket to boo Barry Bonds. The year before, they were cheering him like he was a hero. Chuck Knobloch coming back to the Twins after signing with the Yankees. I was there for that. That was a last-place Twins team. Had one of their biggest crowds of the year, just to boo Chuck Knobloch. Thinking of Johnny Damon returning to Boston after signing with the New York Yankees. These stories have gone on for years and years. This Saturday, and because of the lack of success for baseball right now, those Kentucky fans are going to enjoy every moment they have with it. And I think there'll be some people that stand up and clap for Cal, just like I did for Barry Bonds, because I appreciated what he did when he was there. I also knew he was going to leave. I think there'll be a few people that clap for him. But I'd say 95% of those people are going to be shouting things they've been wanting to shout probably for about 10 months.
Well, if you're halfway intelligent and talking about the Kentucky fans, if you see what he did for your program, and y'all did it together. Nobody's, he's not bigger than the game of basketball or bigger than the program at Kentucky, but y'all had it going on. 2 Final Fours, a national championship. You look at what he did there. Absolutely, you should give that dude an applause and say thank you. We're wanting a quarter of that at Arkansas, like a fourth. Give us a fourth of that. When you're talking about in 6 years, can you get us to 1 Final Four?
We got a couple callers on hold. Let's go to these calls. Steve is first up in Fort Smith. Steve, thank you for calling. What's going on?
Hey, Phil, I want to talk a little Arkansas baseball because that is my passion.
Hey, me too. Thank you.
And trust me, I enjoy listening to you on the radio during games. I really do. Thank you so much for what you do.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
My question for you, well, I've got a comment first. I really expect a big year out of Vahiva and Souza. Not a big year, but I expect them. They've had a year in SEC ball now, so I expect good offensive numbers out of them. My question for you, what do you think about Iredale? I mean, we got him on campus. He's here now, but he's never faced the kind of pitching that he's going to face in the SEC. I just kind of, what are your thoughts on it? I really liked him in fall ball against OSU. Looked good, but, once again, that's fall ball. So just want to get your thoughts on that.
That's the thing is so he did face SEC pitchers in fall and hit them really, really well. So I would take that and think, well, hopefully if you can hit guys like Root or Beidelshees or Gackle or McIntyre or Wood, then you can hit other pitchers in the SEC. And I got a chance to watch him in a few scrimmages, and I think he's incredibly strong. I think the ball jumps off his bat, and he has line-to-line power. It's not just a guy that pulls the ball. I get worried when you look at somebody whose power is just to one side of the field. But I think when I watched Iredale, it's somebody that will hit gap to gap, line to line, stay through the strike zone. And I think his power is going to play no matter what league he's playing in, at least in college. We'll see about pros after that because he's going to be a pro after this next season. James in Pottsville is next up. Hi, James. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
It's great. Thank you.
You were talking about maybe what Calipari may have learned from this year. One of the things I was thinking, he only signed 9 players. There wasn't any room for, missing on players. So I think maybe he ought to at least sign 12, I'm thinking, for next year.
12's a big number, but you're right. I mean, you've got to be, and you do this even in recruiting classes. You bring in enough players to know that you might miss on a few and understanding that you're going to, but you don't miss on all of them. And hopefully you hit on, 2 out of every 3 or some kind of percentage like that. But that's absolutely right. And that's kind of the point I was getting at with looking at Alabama, and they can sit their best player, not about an injury, sit their best player for an entire half in a league game and still win. You'd like to think that Arkansas could do that too. Their best player potentially is Boogie Fland. He's hurt, and it looks like a challenge to win a game with or without him. James, appreciate the phone call. Thank you very much. We'll talk with Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio, in just a moment here on Halftime.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
This is Halftime.
I wanted to find someone who would embrace Arkansas and the opportunities to build on a rich tradition that includes 22 conference titles, 14 Sweet 16 appearances, 11 Elite 8 appearances, 6 Final Fours, and a 1994 NCAA championship.
The head coach of your Arkansas Razorbacks, John Calipari.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Harry Robinson Salisal Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football to NBA, college basketball to NHL and UFC, BetOnline is your number one sports betting source for the new year. From every touchdown to three-pointer and hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Van. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561.
Mike
Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call, cleans it all.
Eat Lux your way with the new $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. The $5 Classic box is iconic all over. The $7 Supreme box has your decadent favorites and then some. The $9 Discovery box introduces you to your newest obsession, like cheesy dipping burritos. Introducing the new $5, $7, and $9 Lux Cravings boxes, only at Taco Bell.
In every generation, there are those who question the status quo. Questions like, why can't chicken be slow roasted? Why can't I have shredded purple cabbage? Why can't my quesadilla have cheese inside and out? And where's my avocado verde salsa? The new era of chicken is here to stay. The Cantina Chicken Menu, only at Taco Bell.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and
looks just like a window. TV on it looks just like a window. Yeah. Just said, what's the point of even sleeping? See me. What's the point of doing anything?
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
On the hotline right now is Bill King. He is the king of college football talk, hosting on Nashville Sports Radio, WNSR, 6 to 9, Monday through Fridays. Been doing it a long, long time, and Bill joins us every Tuesday here on Halftime. Bill, good afternoon. Happy Tuesday here in the non-playing portion of the season. What's going on?
Hey, guys. I'm enjoying things. We still have some good storylines to talk about when it comes to college football. We're not playing games. The year did drag on a little bit too much for me, so I'm content.
Looks like it's going to keep dragging on, too. Did we see, I think, what was the game in Vegas, 2027? It's going to be played, I think, on January the 27th. I mean, at some point, Bill, it looks 25th. Like it's the 25th. That's what it was. I mean, it gets later and later and later. Do you think they're looking at the ratings of the game and thinking maybe we ought to move it a little earlier? Because it doesn't look like you never do less, but you can move the calendar a little bit. I just wonder how that would work.
I don't think they care about the ratings per se because they've got the contracts. They've got the postseason new contract kicks in 26, which is $1.3 billion, which is basically double the current contract. And I don't think they're worried about it. Now, I'm not suggesting that if things got progressively worse with viewership that there wouldn't be some problems they'd be worried about. But right now, they're not worried in the least. They're counting money.
Does that receiver for Ohio State, I saw somewhere where he was getting $4.5 million. Is he the highest paid skill player out there? And does Penn State going and getting that defensive coordinator from Ohio State, do you think that helps at all for Penn State's chances next year?
First of all, Jeremiah Smith is the best young receiver I've ever seen.
Is $4 million too much?
And except for Randy Moss. But the problem with Randy is we didn't get to see him until basically his third year because he didn't get in Notre Dame. Bobby sat him out down at Florida State. He got in trouble, didn't play there, and ended up at Marshall. But again, probably the best talent I've ever seen was Randy Moss. This kid is the next one. He's generational, and you got to pay him whatever he wants. So he'll get whatever he wants, whatever the number is. You have to pay him. And they're also bringing back a receiver, Carnell Tate, who would start and be wide receiver number 1 for most every team in America. He's decided he's staying too. The situation with Jim Knowles is very, I don't know if I want to say peculiar, but there's a lot of bad blood there. Jim Knowles, in year number 3 this year, got into a verbal war with Larry Johnson, longtime defensive line coach and former Penn State longtime defensive line coach, about whether to play a 3-4 or 4-3. And it really exploded after the Oregon game. Ryan Day sat him down and tried to have a come-to-Jesus meeting, and the feelings never got mended. Now, Knowles ended up doing what he wanted to do with the defense, but the damage was done there. And I think he was going to go, whether it was Oklahoma, Notre Dame apparently offered him, and Penn State did. Penn State's a place he already interviewed a couple of years ago before he took the Ohio State job. There is a connection there. But no, that story isn't about the $3.5 million, which is a good raise for him. There's really bad blood there. He was told during the negotiations to not go to the school national championship celebration. That's how bad the blood is.
Well, I don't know the date that they play Ohio State next year, but I think you're going to have to circle that one. That's correct. That's for sure. How close was Knowles to ending up in Norman and with OU?
I think it was a consideration, and I think big money was going to be there no matter what, whether it was 3 or 3.5. Apparently, he's got a lot of family in Philadelphia, and I think that was a consideration. Getting the heck out of Ohio State just because of the relationships that it soured was the other, and I think his girlfriend also was a Philly girl.
Well, convincing Chip Kelly to leave a head coaching job to become the offensive coordinator proved to be a humongous decision for Ohio State and heck for Kelly too. So, you're not going to be probably not going to be convincing a sitting head coach right now to take the defensive coordinator position, but not like they necessarily need to either because they got the Natty.
Well, and it's, as we know, guys, not being preachy here. That's a fantastic job. Whoever gets it is going to inherit resources. A lot of talent's leaving, but that's okay. They got talent flowing in. That's Ohio State. They spend the money. Heck, they made $260 million as an athletic department. I was reading over the last athletic calendar year, and they were in the red $37 million. How about that?
Hey, when you look at teams that were just outside the playoff 12 last year, Bill, I talk about a team like Ole Miss, Miami, Alabama. I know Clemson made it. I think Clemson will be fine next year. South Carolina was close. Syracuse with the late surge. Who do you think that can get over the hump? And you think Ole Miss's years next year? We heard all offseason was how them and Ohio State spent the most money. And you saw one of them, it came to fruition with Ohio State, and not necessarily with Ole Miss. Could you see Ole Miss in the playoff 12 next year?
I could. Now, I don't think it's as guaranteed as I thought it was, and I still claim it's the best roster I've ever seen at Ole Miss. And I would not have wanted to play them. I'm not saying they beat Ohio State, but I wouldn't want to run into them in this last playoff. I think they would have and could have done some damage. But they've got to replace Jackson Dart, who I think might be the most underrated quarterback in the country. And I think we'll have a solid Sunday career. Jeffrey Simmons is the new kid. He's a lefty out of Florida. He's 6'3", 220. And we only really saw him in that Georgia game, and he looked good there. Now, that's even though that was against a really good team, you don't know what to think. But he's got a lot of ability. They've portaled again like crazy. I think Ole Miss is one of those teams. Alabama has to be one of those teams as well.
And another one I got for you, Bill, is I think back to the bowl game. Coach Bielema, Coach Beamer, Illinois, South Carolina, two teams that were close. Which one of them has a better season next year?
Oh, boy. I haven't looked at Illinois' pathway. I would maybe Illinois just because of what South Carolina has to go through. I think both will probably have good years. But if you're going to start getting 4 teams in, and that's what I would assume from the Big Ten, and I think there's going to be a guarantee in place in 26 for the SEC and the Big Ten to get 4, minimum. I don't know if Illinois is one of those teams.
What about Beamer getting the extension? Really no surprise with the kind of season they put together here. It's just, he was hired the same year that Sam Pittman was hired. Sam coming into his 6th year, and Beamer's got this extension that lasts at least through 2030, and a little momentum heading forward right now. What'd you make of Beamer at South Carolina and getting the extension?
I know, Shane. I run hot and cold when evaluating him, but right now I'm on the hot end. I think he's doing a really good job. He's got a fantastic young quarterback in the Sellers kid. Beamer is sneaky good in the portal, where he'll take some players, and his evaluation is better than others on those players. And it turns out he's got a really good hit rate, baseball term, on evaluating and then the application of those players' jobs on the field. Little underrated by people who aren't observant much to South Carolina. I think right now he deserved that extension. I think that was a good idea.
You think Micaiah Hughes, the running back from Tulane that went out to Oregon, you think he rushes for 1,500 yards or has 2,000 all-purpose yards next year?
I mean, I think that's a 1,000-yard job. The kid who had the job's from right here in the borough, Murfreesboro. But and I don't even know if he's coming back or not. I haven't even checked. But he's a true junior. I do know that. But yeah, I mean, he's got a chance. That's a high octane stuff a stat sheet offense. I would think so. Now 2,000 yards, as you know, that's hard to stuff that stat sheet that way. But there's a lot of data, a lot of yardage, a lot of stats that you can get done out there.
Yeah, and when 2,000, I mean, catching the ball too. Hey, there's a quarterback that caught my eye this year, Seth Hennigan from Memphis. I know we haven't really talked about him a lot, but I like this kid. What are your thoughts on him? Is he a guy that could go in the top 100 picks? Do you think he's good enough to play on Sundays?
I think he's good enough to be on somebody's roster. Maybe be the third guy, maybe in an emergency be the second guy. I think that's what type of prospect he is. They've really done a good job. Memphis over the last 10 years has really done an outstanding, maybe a top 10 team. If you go back through and look at the quarterbacks they've either developed or whatever they've done with them, whether it's Coach Norvell, et cetera, they have done a wonderful job at the quarterback position. They have. And sometimes it's an in-state kid, sometimes it's a Florida kid, but they have really done a good job developing. And that head coach who now has been there, I guess, 3 years, he's been there longer, but he was just the offensive line coach, and they elevated him, and he's done a good job.
Bill, let's leave it there. Appreciate you hopping on as always. We'll look forward to doing it again next week. And by the way, when we talk next week, it'll be a day before National Signing Day, which, of course, is not a really exciting day any longer because the early signing period is what it's all about.
By the way, I've got another name for the P word that we put on the verboten list. It's payoff, not the PL word. Yeah, how about that? There you go.
That's a good one, too. How many words are on your verboten list?
You know what, guys? Embarrassingly, I don't know. It's a run-on sentence. It's forever.
It's fluid.
Yes, very fluid.
What your English teacher told you not to do. That's what that list is.
Yeah, Matt's mom is an English teacher, so she's got a lengthy list of those. Yeah,
she would have red ink all over my thing. It would not go well.
Bill, thanks as always. Appreciate you, man. Have a great
all
week. Right. Yeah, you can give Bill a listen at some point. It's worth your time during commercial breaks on Chuck and Bo, WNSR Radio. Andy's Frozen Custard got you covered. Anytime you're craving something sweet and delicious, Andy's Frozen Custard has the greatest frozen treats around. These days I'm thinking about a Choco Rocco Concrete frozen custard, roasted almonds, and marshmallow cream. It's available at all their locations on East Oak Street, Dave Ward Drive in Conway, Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, and North Little Rock, JFK Boulevard. Andy's Frozen Custard, walk up or drive through, they are ready to serve you right now. So are we on halftime. Call us, text us, 877-377-6963. We'll be right back.
They were so convincing in their argument, they swung me.
This is halftime.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Want to have more fun watching the NBA? Try playing daily fantasy basketball on Sleeper Picks. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. And now, Sleeper has a special offer. New users just have to play $5 to get $55 in free entries. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code COURT and get $55 in free entries when you play $5. That's code COURT. Must be at least 18 years old. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Mark your calendars and save big at the Greater River Valley RV Show going on January 30th through February 2nd at Crabtree RV Center in Alma. Special show pricing and financing available on all units, new or used. Come and see our large inventory of industry-leading brands such as Grand Design and Forest River. Take advantage of the huge savings at the Greater River Valley RV Show at Crabtree RV Center, January 30th through February 2nd. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
We all make plans for the future, like car accidents, break-ins, and unexpected fires can disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design insurance plans that work for you and help protect what matters most. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call Wade Gilkey or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
The Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Online and on the air and now everywhere you go. Tune in to the greatest moments of Razorback sports with Chuck Barrett, Bo Mattingly, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and Ruskin and Zach with our Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Stay connected no matter where you go with the Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Download for free in the Apple app or Google Play stores. Just search Hit That Line Now. It's fueled by Taco Bell.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Ah, baby, so talk about low down stack-a-doo. sing and a homo sing. Almost that. Almost that, my baby, just about to low down, skaggy do.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Matt's had a great theme for the show today for all the music. It's all acts that were featured on last night's 50 years of music of SNL specials. What was the name of that band that you just played?
It was a John Belushi special. So it was a punk band, but back before punk bands, really were playing live music on TV. But Belushi went and got him. He had seen him live one time. It was a band called Fear, a little punk rock band. Like he has duct tape on his pants. Punk rockers. It's like you got the same pants on, but they're duct taped together. You're like, what's just go get some new pants.
I love that the guy with so they're interviewing the guy last night. Well, not interviewing. They obviously recorded it, and he still looks like he might play a punk song every once in a while. Doesn't look as mean and almost scary. Like when you're watching him play guitar last night up on that stage, it looked frightening. Plus, and this was before I was watching SNL in the early 80s.
Crowd, yeah.
They brought their fans with them. It's like the line from Slapshot. They brought their freaking toys. These people brought their own freaking fans so that they could have, I don't think they called it a mosh pit back then, but that's essentially what it was. Up in front of the first row of the SNL characters, and yet you heard the lyrics right there. The lyrics actually say, "She wants my beef bologna." That's actually kind of introspective for punk rock. It was pretty good. I can't wait to hear what you got next, what we might actually play next. I thought you were going to play Joe Cocker at some point. That was one of the things that just made me crack up, because watching Cocker next to Belushi, and Belushi's doing his Cocker imitation, and it's like Joe Cocker times 50, was just perfect. It was good television last night. 877-377-6963 to get with this here. I saw one of the craziest home run trots that I think has ever happened in baseball, and of course it takes place in the Dominican Championship Series, and you get to hear the call of this too. Not like you might understand it all.
4-3 en el juego. Jairo Asensio, el líder en juego salvado de todos los tiempos. Duro por el center field. No. I can't believe it. Lo hizo otra vez. Óigame, señores. ¿Qué palo ha dado este muchacho?
Dale un cuadrangular a tu salud con los medicamentos.
All right, I don't know the name of the gentleman that made that call, but to switch from Spanish to English on a Dominican telecast, I thought was just amazing. Plus the guy that hits this home run, whose name is Junior Caminero, plays for the D-Rays. This was not a walk-off home run. It was the top of the ninth inning, a go-ahead home run. His team bursts out of the dugout. He stops halfway to first base and is pumping his fist back and forth, swinging his arms. Looked like he had just won $80 million in the lottery. He hadn't even touched first base yet. He stops and is celebrating with his teammates along the first base line. It took him more than a minute to get around the bases. I've never seen something take so long before, but it did win the game for them, so it was kind of entertaining. And that is Albert Pujols' first championship as a manager. He's the manager of this team that Caminero plays for, the Escondido Leones. Maybe at some point Albert will be a manager. Certainly he is a manager, but a major league manager. Looks like he wants to. I'm going to have to learn a Spanish home run call at some point. Matt, if I could break out of English into Spanish language on a Razorback game, I'd probably get fired. But it'd be a great way to go out.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. No.
I can't. So it's almost like, that's like the Jack Buck call. That's the Jack Buck call of Kirk Gibson. I can't believe it. He said this. I do not believe it. That's what this guy's doing. Buck should have done it in Spanish. It's too bad. I don't know the Spanish language well enough to be able to make that switch over there. Sounded good though, man. There's something about Spanish play-by-play that makes me wish I could speak Spanish and actually understand it a little bit as well. Shouldn't take you a minute to get around the bases though, even if it's a game-winning homer.
There's another guy that I don't know any of his music, but he's a Spanish guy on SNL, Bad Bunny. Does your daughter like it? That's their type of music, right? The high school kids.
Yeah, she doesn't play.
Does she know Bad Bunny?
Yeah, she knows who he is. Yeah, she knows who he is. But I'd say she'd be more into. Oh, she's like big on Travis Scott. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar plays at the halftime show at the Super Bowl this year.
He crushed it in L.A. a couple years ago. I thought when they did Snoop and Dre and they had all, I thought his was the best. So yeah, he's
going to be terrific.
Yeah.
My son's a fan of Kendrick.
To Pimp a Butterfly, that's a great album. Yeah.
Well, I also wonder if this will be a thing where we get diss tracks introduced into the halftime show because he's dissing like. Well, Lil Wayne, I think he and Lil Wayne have gone after each other.
Not Wheezy F Baby, please save the baby.
Pretty sure that's what's going on. And if you've got being the halftime performer is the biggest microphone in the world for that very moment. It's definitely time for a diss
But
track.
it's not live though, is it? Remember a couple of years ago, the Chili Peppers didn't even plug their guitars in, and they were playing. It's. I think it's a little more dubbed though. I don't think it's 100% live where it's. But maybe it is. Maybe it is.
I don't know. Kendrick seems to be a pretty
adamant.
Well, also just very, very genuine, and I could see.
Well, the NFL, they set the rules. Now they don't even pay you. Like you used to, they would pay you. Now they say your sales of your album are going to go up 47% by all this. So we don't. So they've changed a lot. So and they want it their way. They don't want to have any mess ups with all the production. I do think it's a little more piped in.
Well, he can still throw a diss track in there because he's got like 4 or 5 of them. Well, even more than that on the last album he put out. It's like take your pick of who it is that he's going after. And yeah, Lil Wayne was the last one that he actually went after. Matt loved the punk rock that you played. And that was a band that's called Fear.
They tell homie to check out the SNL 50 Years in Music. I'm sure they'll play it again or however they get it. But that was a good. I bet there's even more to it. I bet there's some outtakes and some more inside stuff. But yeah, it was just pretty neat going over. And then the times when your boy, I thought of you, Phil, when Morgan Wallen was at his frat party and they had to call.
He's kissing co-eds. That's when you thought of me, right?
Yeah, they were like, let's call Jack White III, and he came in and did his thing. Yeah.
Has Weird Al ever been a host on SNL? I don't think he has. That's when you should be thinking of me. The first 7.5 minutes of that show last night was like 7.5 of the best minutes I think I've ever watched on television because they showed, or at least it felt like they showed, every single act.
How they mashed it up. Yeah.
The mashup was amazing. I have a list of my favorite mashup when they went Queen and a Dave Matthews Band.
And that was 92 Dave Matthews Band. Yeah. Where he's red on red with, just
he's wearing pajamas.
Exactly.
He was wearing what he slept in that day. Like, it's okay if you wear what you sleep in and you work at home. He's on stage in New York City, but it was just fine then because it was Dave Matthews. I did like Queen and a Dave Matthews Band. James Brown into Lenny Kravitz was really cool too. Just seeing James up there doing his dance and his group behind him, I thought that was awesome. And then Bobby McFerrin, you remember Bobby McFerrin? He did the Don't Worry, Be Happy song from like 85 or 86. They did Bobby McFerrin into Busta Rhymes. somebody really intelligent and creative came up with that mashup. He's like, well, you don't ever invent anything, right? Oh, that was inventing something. I thought it just was really entertaining.
Hillman Exhibit, Pimp My Ride. Y'all forget about that gem in 2002.
877-377-6963 to get with this here. Well, we don't have music on the Hit That Line Now app unless it's music that's coming through our shows. And, of course, Matt Jones is taking care of all of that. You can hear all of our shows on Hit That Line app. You can view all of the shows on the Hit That Line Now app. You can even download all the podcasts on the Hit That Line Now app. And it's brought to you by Taco Bell. Make sure to try the new Taco Bell cheesy dipping burritos today. They're made to share or not. Two perfectly portioned cheesy dipping burritos. You get to choose how to indulge only at Taco Bell. We'll come back. We'll wrap up halftime right after this break.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
This is halftime.
Looking to protect yourself and your family this flu season? Law's Drug Store at 6802 Rogers Avenue offers the latest vaccines for adults and seniors in both COVID-19 and the flu. Law's Drug Store has friendly pharmacists ready to assist you with no appointment necessary. Call 452-6116. It's quick, it's easy, and in most cases, free with your insurance. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Open 6 days a week to care for you and your family.
Has your spouse suddenly entered the transfer portal, going from a franchise player to a prima donna ready to take the money and run? Don't let her get away with a huge buyout. Be proactive and call Mock Legal Solutions today to ask about custody, alimony, and child support. 479-769-1505. Because even in divorce, the best offense is a good defense. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
I think we should start seeing other people.
It's that time of year. Longer nights and colder weather can mean higher energy bills. But Arkansas Oklahoma Gas wants to help you save on your energy costs this winter. A healthy heating system equals a happy home and wallet. Ensure it runs efficiently by scheduling regular maintenance with a licensed technician. Adjust ceiling fans to spin clockwise to help push warm air down. Keep your thermostat on a lower setting, health allowing, and layer up on clothing. For more money-saving tips, visit AOGC.com/winter.
Call the Hogs with Razorback women's basketball this season for exciting matchups inside the Basketball Palace of Mid-America, Bud Walton Arena.
All the changes we've had, the one thing that stayed really same is I'm going to coach them as hard as I'm going to love them.
Experience great family fun and entertainment by cheering on the Hogs along with the Hog Wild Band, cheerleaders, dance team, and mascot.
Carly inside, up with the ball, fouled, and one.
Tickets start at just $5 at ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
The Newmeyer family is a mainstay in Fort Smith, and their newest restaurant, the Whippoorwill, has so much to offer. Friday night catfish, good. Tuesday nights, kids 10 and under eat free with an adult meal purchase. Don't forget about Whippoorwill for every Hogs game with their massive projection screen. For catering options, call 479-769-2095. Newmeyer's Whippoorwill Restaurant, now a part of the Newmeyer family.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TRAVEL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TRAVEL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TRAVEL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Up to $10,000 off or $7,000 off and 0% financing on select 2024 GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off or take $7,000 in discounts and 0% financing with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Spoken was well, although I wasn't there. Said I was his friend, which came as a surprise. I spoke into his eyes, I thought you died alone a long time ago. Oh no, not me. We never lost control.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Wrapping things up here on halftime. I'll give a happy birthday to Michael Cage from West Memphis, Arkansas, one of the top defensive players in the NBA during his time, and now also the Oklahoma City Thunder television analyst, born today, 1962. Andre Iguodala has a birthday today, 41 years old, and I think he's having his number retired by the Sixers. So that came out earlier today as well.
Iggy, man, he's all world defensive player. I kind of put Drew Holiday whenever Boston went and got that pick. He was his anticipation, the way he read the game, he was one of the best. He's a borderline Hall of Famer. I know it's such an offensive minded game. He won't get in. But if you're just talking about guards, you would want on your team, man, you want Iguodala on your team. You want Drew Holiday on your team. Two guys I don't know. He won the titles. I just don't know if the way we look at offensive numbers, if either one of those guys get in.
Greg Popovich has a 76th birthday today. Yeah, I was thinking about franchises that have had dynasties. And you think about the Spurs, what was it, 5 championships in like a 20 or 22-year period? And to me, that was like the quietest of the dynasties that I can remember being around for. And maybe they didn't have the, outside of Rodman, you didn't like have those loud, flashy personalities, really. I mean, there were some of those guys that had personalities. It's just not the, hey, look at me kind of a thing.
I think They won at 99, then the Lakers won like 3 in a row, and then that's when they started winning it like every other year, kind of like what the Giants did there. Yeah, I think the Giants won 3 World Series in like 8 years, and they were like every other year or something.
Right, and no one puts them in that category because none of them were back-to-back. A lot of times you look at what's a dynasty. Well, you got to have something back-to-back. Yeah, the Pack did it, the Niners did it, the Steelers did it, the Cowboys did it. I'm pretty sure the Patriots did it as well, and now the Chiefs have done it. Maybe 3 in a row. That's, you try to define one dynasty over another can be a little difficult to do. Oh, hey, by the way, so we were taking a list of players that could be on the front cover of the EA Sports College football game next year. We had a list now of Arch Manning, Jeremiah Smith, Carson Beck, Caleb Downs. We had a caller that I think this actually makes sense, Diego Pavia. What about Cam Rising? If he were to come back for, what would it be, an 8th year? I don't think he goes to Utah, but let's say he goes into the transfer portal. Why would you not have, if you're looking at like the face of college football, it would be that tight end for Miami.
Who's that receiver for Ole Miss?
Some of that's been around the sport for 8 years probably should be on this thing too.
It should be like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Their ghost should be up in the clouds. They shouldn't be on the field with the other guys, but you could see their coyote ghosts going up into the spirit world.
And Jessica Rabbit is not waiting for them in cartoon or college football heaven at that point. Just like Haley Cavender was waiting for Carson Beck when he came out of the portal. Yeah, who's waiting for Cam Rising? I don't know. Good show today. Really enjoyed it. Lots of fun. If you missed anything, our talks today with Alyssa Orange and Bill King. They'll be on the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast coming out shortly. We appreciate Eastside Liquor for sponsoring the Halftime Podcast going on 3 years now. 9390 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, 479-452-7311 for Eastside Liquor. Ruskin and Zach coming up in just a couple of moments, and we'll do this again tomorrow with you. So for Matt Jones and Christian Johnston, I'm Phil Elson. We appreciate you listening today and for calling in, for texting. That's halftime. Now get up, get out, and get better.